Hello, everyone. I'm Tyler, and I'm here at GauntletCon 2018, and it has been fucking awesome. We're going to be playing tonight. I have 4 great players, and I'm playing All or Punished, which is an adventure for Monster of the Week by Ollie Jeffrey. And I love Ollie Jeffrey. He is a master of horror. He puts together wonderful, creepy, fantastic things, and is a swell person. So I'm delighted to be running this one. I've done it a few times before, and it always comes out nice and creepy. We're going to be playing in a 4-hour slot, so we're going to compress it a little bit. However, if folks happen to be watching, there is right now our Kickstarter going on for the Codex Volume 1, and one of the special buy-ins is me running it for 2 sessions for you and 3 of your friends. So if you like it, go ahead and jump in on that. And heck, and if you don't like me, jump in and back that anyway, because it is freaking awesome. And it is so well worth it. And there's so many stretch goals we've already unlocked. We have potential for at least 1 more, I think. And we are doing fantastic with that. So hop in and do that. I'm going to start off by saying that this is a Gauntlet game, so we have the Gauntlet inclusivity policy. And to kind of boil that down, that means we're all friends at the table here together. We're here to support each other. We're here to be welcoming. We're here to be generous, and we're here to take care of each other. And that's what it is to have fun. That's what gaming's about, and that's what we do here in Gauntlet. Also, I want to say we have the X card on the table. For those of you who don't know, sometimes something can get problematic. It can become a little too personal. It can just stretch to where you're like, this is not fun for me anymore. If that happens, please feel free to do something like this. You can put an X in the chat. You can even say, hey, Tyler, I think I want to X that. There are no questions necessary to be answered. We will take, I might ask for a little clarification, but we'll take that back. And then we will reframe and head forward again. Now, I've always said again that there's no questions asked, but if there is something that you feel like you kind of want to get off your chest, we are all friends. Because of time, I'm going to say I'd rather we could keep that from being on screen. But of course, we do, if something is really bothering you, certainly speak about it. We have our chat here. I also have an invent page I've made, and we can do a debrief off camera afterwards. This is one of the last games of the night here. So, if folks need to unload, I'm always here to listen. We also have an open table policy, which means that should something get just too much, feel free to say, I'm going to take a minute. Leave the table. If it's too much all around, stand up. It's completely fine to say, look, I just don't think I want to play anymore. And, we are here to make sure we all feel good, safe, and secure. Now, I have 4 great players who are currently looking over the playbooks and deciding who they're going to be playing. I'm going to read off the little opening bit of this, and then I'm going to have folks introduce themselves and see if we've got those characters ready afterwards. All are Punished. Francis Tillerson was handsome, not quite matinee idol handsome, but certainly returning character at a soap opera handsome. He was charming, he had the most open smile, and he did charity work. He volunteered at least once a month at the soup kitchen that ran out of St. Evelyn's Church, feeding the city's homeless. And when he finished his shift, he would track down whichever of the homeless women he found most attractive that evening, invite them back to his apartment to sleep for the night, and torture and murder them. He was able to operate like this for years because nobody was really looking for the missing homeless women. And from the years 1974 to 1978, it's estimated he murdered more than 50 women and girls. He was eventually arrested when one of his intended victims escaped and identified him to the police, which quickly led to the discovery of human remains in the multiple chest freezers that filled most of his apartment. Despite insurmountable evidence against him, Francis maintained his innocence throughout the trial and during his years on death row so that he could mount multiple appeals. It was very important to Francis that he escaped the death penalty. He worked out of St. Evelyn's soup kitchen because that was the church he had attended as a child, and though he didn't act like it, he still believed every word he'd heard there. He was convinced that on his death, he would be condemned to hell. On a cold February morning in 1984, Francis Tillerson was executed by lethal injection. And then, of course, he went to hell. So, with that in mind, let's see who folks think they've what playbooks folks would like to play. Chris, have you had a chance to decide on one there?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Expert.
Excellent. That's a very, very cool choice. Jason, what do you think you're going to be playing?
I just came off a very, very intensely bloody and sexy hot game of the Between, and so I'm going to do the mundane to bring it down a couple notches. At least for myself.
Kate, what do you think you're going to play?
Well, I was just playing Turning Point, which is very emotional, so I've decided to play the Ronde.
Just keep that going. Just keep it going.
Wonderful. I love the Ronde, one of my favorite out there. And Paul, what are you thinking of playing?
Well, I just came off playing Damn the Man, Save the Music, where I played a happy-go-lucky kind of goth person. So I'm going to go for the Flake. I'm going to be a nihilistic Flake.
Wonderful. That's fantastic. Chris, you're playing the Expert. They have a Haven, which I have set up in there. The way I've worked this in the past, because in a lot of cases we won't have a chance to really go back and do things in your Haven, is you can take things from it and consider them holds. In the idea that, and you don't have to pre-decide them or anything like that. It's you've got a bag or you've got it in the car or whatever, and you can just say, that's something that I would need and use it as a hold and pull it on out. And so what I do there is I give 3 hold off of it. Does that sound good to you?
Sounds good.
Excellent. What we're going to do is we're going to set up some bonds or some history between our characters. But before that, maybe hear a little concept of what people are, what they're seeing for their character. So if people feel ready, if folks think they have a little idea of who they are, we'll start with you, Chris. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your person?
I think my character is John Rossi. He is, you said this takes place in Chicago. Is that correct? He is the head librarian for the University of Chicago, and I believe he's probably got his haven somewhere inside, somewhere hidden inside the main branch of the Chicago Public Library. And it says that one of his moves is a dark past, so I think that he spent his youth in some sort of satanic cult, which he has gotten out of recently, or within the last 10 years.
Excellent. And do you go off searching for the supernatural and the unusual as a general principle, or did this particular case have some personal resonance that's called you to it?
I'm going to say that a personal resonance in that just some of the murders seem to. I don't think any of the victims he necessarily knew. I just think that some of the murders seemed ritualistic in a familiar way.
Excellent. And I suppose I picked on you there early, Chris, but I suppose I should give us a hook here to start us off, and that might help with your characters.
Sure.
2 weeks ago, murders began happening, and this is 31 years. Is that right? No, 37 years after Frank Tillison's execution. And these murders began happening 2 weeks ago, and there have been somewhere in the range of 5 young ladies who have disappeared already in 2 weeks. And the feeling, because of the area that it's in and the situation, has brought back the old stories of Frank Tillerson. So the press has started putting out some copycat murders occurring stories, horror of St. Evelyn's happens again sort of stories. So you've heard a little bit about that. So that's kind of our hook. So Jason, would you like to tell us a little about your mundane?
I have a quick question about the hook. Were the most recent victims, were they also homeless people?
Yes, they have all been young people from the age of 16 to 23. All of them were homeless people out here in this neighborhood.
Okay, I'm going to be playing the mundane. My name is Diego Torres. I am. I'm going to say I'm like 22. I think that I am a senior. I'll say I'm a senior at the University of Chicago. Maybe I know Chris's character through that. And I think that I actually work at a nonprofit organization that houses and feeds the homeless. And so maybe that's how I've like started to hear about this or whatever as well.
All right. You think it's in the same neighborhood, or you think that it's from the surrounding area, but because it's this thing that's got a connection to you is why
I'm open to either. If it's easier for the mystery for it to be the same neighborhood, I will. Or
why don't we have it be somewhere close by, but not like that
Okay.
same around St. Evelyn's?
Close by is good. Yep. Good.
All right.
So I don't work at St. Evelyn's. I work at some other like. I'll come up with a name. I might use the one from the new Spider-Man video game, Feast or whatever it's called. So.
Ooh. All right.
Video game, by the way.
And anything else?
I have. I think that's all I know for now. I am. I said I went to the University of Chicago. I think I'm like a social work student. That's what I've gone to school for. So.
Excellent. All right, Kate, what playbook are you thinking of?
I went with the Rond. Is there a monster type you think would be best for this scenario?
And this is up to you, but I honestly
Demons.
That's what I chose, but I didn't want to assume.
Well, you could have demons, or if you won't, you could have been wronged in some way by Frank back in the day, and then Frank could be that. Now I don't know. That has some potential for. Now, of course, you would be, depending on your age. It's 30. Yeah, it's 37 years ago, but it could have been that some family member or some connection. If you wanted it with that, then Frank could be it, or you could do demons. I'll say, in our sort of setup, knowledge of demons could be helpful, but at the same time, we're dealing in this, for full disclosure, with demons that are not going to really be able to be beaten.
No, I just need my +1. I don't need to beat them.
Okay. So would you rather go with the demons?
No, fuck it. Let's go with Frank, right?
All
go
right.
big or go home.
right.
Yeah, so I was gonna say my wife was killed, but I think with 37 years, it's probably my mom. Realistically. I guess I've just been a wandering badass for 40 years. That's great.
So you've made a kind of a career of going out and tracking down. Is it mostly supernatural, or do you go after things like serial killers, criminals, sort of people?
Yeah, I definitely think she's more of like a vagabond kind of vigilante style. She hasn't been back to the area since, though. Like, I think her mom died when she was a kid, and she hasn't been back until now.
And then I'm guessing maybe heard the stories, and that drew you back.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you have a name?
Her name, she goes by Dallas.
Dallas. All right. And let's see. Go ahead, Paul. Tell us about your character.
So I'm playing the Flake, and my character's name is Void Matthews. And Void is, and if you know anything like about the occult in Chicago, you know Void Matthews. You know, he's like the shadowy kind of leader of this. Some people call it a cult. He likes to call it family. Called the Void, and he. Yeah, I mean, people think he's a fucking scary kind of character, but he's looking out for everyone. You know, he can feel like he can see the patterns in the occult kind of static that drifts like around Chicago, and he can see that there's ripples in that static right now, and things aren't what they should be.
Ooh, very nice. All right. That seems like quite a party we have then. So let's build a little bit of history between them. And as I said, I think we're going to do giving one bond to everyone and getting one bond back. Easiest way to remember that is to try and not give a bond to someone who's already given one until we reach the end and you have no choice. So, Chris, would you like to start with a history question?
Okay. One moment, let me bring that up.
And you can feel free to offer it out, or you can say, this sounds like something for you. Is it okay? Do you like it? But either way would be fine.
Okay. I will say, well, this is kind of obvious. This is to Paul or Void. You were previously both members of an Eldritch group, now disbanded. Ask them why they left and tell them why you did. So, Void, why did you leave? And with me, I left because I lost the faith.
Yeah, I think, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I left because they were obviously posers. They didn't see that this shit was real. They were just mucking around with their seances and their Ouija boards. This shit's real.
Yeah, and that kind of seems like we diverged in the opposite direction. Whereas it's like I came to the conclusion, it's like, this is all fake. Let me just leave. Whereas you knew something was real, so.
Wonderful. Okay, so I'll go to you then, Paul. Would you like to give a bond? Offer a bond out?
I have a bond with someone. They're a close relative of mine. Ask them to decide exactly what.
Ooh, so Jason or Kate? Anyone want to pick up on a familial relationship with Void?
I am okay with that, but if Dallas has an idea, I'm open to it as well.
I'm good either way. I was like, I could have a wayward son.
Ooh,
that's the cultist. That
feels
seems
right.
legit.
That feels legit to me. Yeah, that feels pretty legit.
What were your thoughts?
I don't. On the one hand, I don't think that it seems crazy that Diego, who's so upstanding and Johnny on it, he got into University of Chicago, which for any non-Americans on the call, that's a really good school. And so on the one hand, it seems weird that I might have this skeleton in the closet of Void Matthews, but on the other hand, that could be fun too. I think you should take it, though.
I mean, Kate, I kind of see Void as being like he's been around the block a bit. He's a bit older. So would you kind of be okay with us being like kind of brother and sister, like siblings?
We could totally be siblings, or we could have been married at some point. Whatever you jam.
I like siblings.
All right. How old are you? Do you remember what happened to Mom?
Well, how old am I? You're asking me that? We're fucking twins, for God's sake.
Oh, it's our 50th birthday this year. Did you know?
Well, thing is, you forget every single year, and I'm still fucking salty about it.
I like how you both have like so dramatically processed your mother's death in such different ways.
Everything is fucking fine, okay?
Just a normal family
of cultists.
That's fantastic. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, Paul. So, Kate, would you like to throw out a bond? And that would probably go to Jason.
Yeah. You're a social worker?
Student, yeah.
Working towards that?
Mm-hmm.
they saw you absolutely lose it and go berserk. Tell them what the situation was and ask them how much collateral damage you caused.
Oh, that's good.
How did I go berserk?
Wait, do I have to tell you, or
No, I get to do that. I honestly think, in my own fucked up way, I claimed asylum at a women's shelter, knowing some douchebag was going to come around looking for this woman, and just fucking laid into him when he showed up. I did not obey those social worker rules at all. How bad was the damage?
So just to be perfectly clear, you were at the women's shelter, and who showed up to the women's shelter?
This guy who has a bad reputation. One of the girls there was hiding from him. He obviously got the information some way he shouldn't have.
And I think I think this was when I was in high school.
Oh God.
I was in high school. I was padding my resume to get into university. And this looked really good, but I also care. I'm both, and I'd like to just go. I'd like to just really go in here.
Give her.
I think you killed this motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
I think you killed him. And the collateral damage was the public collateral damage was minimal, but what happened was you convinced me to help you hide the body. And so you actually have this on me. Like, it's a little bit of like, we kind of have this on each other, right? We have this like.
So we've interacted since? Have I just been following you around once in a while?
I think just in passing, because you said you're a vagabond, right? So you probably end up at places where I work sometimes. Right?
Oh yeah.
So
I do college clients in public. Come on now.
Yeah.
Can I ask, does this mean, do you think this was in Chicago when this happened? Are you from Chicago, Jason?
I'm from Chicago, yeah.
Okay, so do we think this happened then in Chicago?
Sure.
All right. Excellent. Oh, that's a cool bond. Oh, that's nice. These are all good. Jason, would you like to give one out? And I think it goes to Chris.
It does go to Chris. Give me one moment. Chris, about how old is John Rossi?
I think he's in his mid to late 50s.
Okay, I'm into it. I think we're either romantically involved, or I have a crush, on you. Like, it's a whole like May December thing, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Sure.
But you get to choose. You get to choose. Either we are in a relationship, or I just have a crush.
I think we are in a relationship. Yeah.
Probably on the down low. I'm sure we don't
yes
are super open about that. A lot of complicated questions about power dynamics and stuff there, but okay, good. Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, we just
can I ask then? Do you know about? And I'm going to start using people's character names here in just a second, but since I'm staring at everybody, I'm looking at using your name. But do you think you know about Chris's past? Chris, did you share that? Are you interested in the kind of supernatural?
I think that he's probably, I don't think he necessarily knows the extent to which I was involved, but I think that being, in his house, he probably would have seen, lots of strange books.
Yeah.
And so he knows that John is very into this sort of thing and is an expert in this area.
Yeah. And I think apart from like just being, I think I'm mundane in the sense of like, I have not yet hunted a monster. So like, I don't know if I don't think I believe in such things. I believe in real world monsters, obviously, but I don't know if I believe in like per se literal monsters. So yeah.
That's excellent. That makes perfect sense. If folks would just at the very least put like the name of the person you have your connection with, and maybe just like 3-4 words, hot words to remind, that way I can pop down there and keep it in my mind. So with that all set up, and I will ask again, are there any questions as to your characters or anything you have a question for your fellow players on their characters?
I don't think so. I do have a question just about like, no, I don't think I do. You said this is a dark mystery, right? Like it's really dark, really intense. I just want to be clear on that because Monster of the Week can be quite camp. And so just to be perfectly clear, we are going and we are in dark mode today. Okay.
Right. This is dark. The tone is dark. It's going to be pretty grim. You know, as with any great horror movie, there can be that moment of levity, that sort of the humor of, you know, interpersonal relationships sort of thing. But yes, this is pretty awful. So, all right then.
Well, just a quick question. Yeah. Hey, Paul, what's Void's real name? I would know.
Yeah, why didn't you tell me? Because it's been so long since I've used that name. I don't even remember it.
Is Kate naming you?
Yeah, you okay with that, Kate?
Yeah.
What? What is? Oh, I don't have my real name up there either.
She was reading my funny remark in the chat. Sorry, I said that your mother named you Void right before she was murdered.
Oh, maybe it's something like Vincent. Like he kept the V.
Yeah. Okay, I love that. Yeah, Vincent Matthews.
It's so cracker. Yeah.
Wonderful. All right then. So let's do a little touch of a setup here of. It sounds like we have a couple of folks that it's very easy to see them being together to start this off. But I'm going to open it up to, do we think that our twins have come across each other? I'll put it in y'all's court. Do we think y'all are already here because you've heard about this and you've gotten in touch with each other and are starting this mystery, looking into it together? Or would you rather be separated to come together as the mystery as we start, get going into the mystery?
I mean, I think it kind of, it's more convenient, if we came together to start it. But I quite like the idea of the actual kind of story happening, and we're kind of thrust together and like seeing how that plays out.
All right. Well then, Kate, what do you think of that?
I'm okay randomly finding each other in this mystery. I don't talk much.
Well then, I'll put the ball into the other two of your court. Jason, Chris, which of these two would each of you like to kind of have started off speaking with, talking to as our mystery gets going?
Like me talking to one of them?
Right. We're going to start with
Void or Dallas.
Right.
Okay. So not me and John together in the beginning.
I think not, since they're. Okay. I like the idea of the twins. I gave them that option if they want to come together.
Got it. Okay, sorry. I think maybe I just run into Dallas. I mean, yeah. And maybe it's at Feast. I work at an organization called Feast.
Excellent. Kate, do you think you came looking for him because you know that the shit's about to go down, and this is someone that, well, knows where the bodies are buried?
Yeah, if anything, to ask like what he's heard and where I can find the like kind of epicenter where this shit is happening, rather than do my own goddamn research.
Cool. Good. All right, so we're going to start off, and I'll let you two think about, because we're going to start off with the first scene is going to be you two as we've kind of starting in stride of you've come to speak to him, and you're going to be realizing this stuff's going on and starting to investigate it. So Chris, I'm going to come to you. Do you think you've gone to Void, or do you think that Void came to John?
I think John probably would have gone to Void, because John is not, he is not as plugged into things as he once was. So I think that Void is probably the person, probably the person he knows that is the most plugged into these sorts of things. And so he would have probably immediately gone to Void, just because Void makes himself known.
All right. So Void, we're going to start, so you two can think as I get back to Jason and Kate. You two can think we're going to have that scene again, starting in stride of we've already talked about, okay, something's going on here, terrible. But I do want to ask, Void, does John know that your mother was killed by Frank Tillerson?
Yes.
Okay. So with that in mind, so you're going to come in again in stride, already deciding we need to look into this. And we'll do a little quick scene for each pair and then start moving towards the investigation. I want to say that we're playing in the area of St. Evelyn's, which is an old Catholic church built sometime around, maybe even a little before the Great Fire. And it's stone, so it survived, but there's still rumors, some of the stains that are on the church. Kids say it's where people were huddling up against it, caught in the fire, and that's the image that was put up onto the stones. But yeah, that's probably not true. The neighborhood, though, is an old immigrant blue-collar style originally neighborhood. And it was mostly made up of German immigrants. But since, over the years, and especially since the 80s, after Frank's murder rampage here, a lot of the older families moved away. And so in the last 10 years or so, we've had a bit of an influx of new people. The pall that was set over it in the 70s, and, the 70s were a pretty sensationalized time in Chicago anyway. So a lot of the older families kind of moved. There's some hangers-on and some people that my grandmother was here, of course I'm going to be here, sort of thing. But it's now got a bit of a mix of people who old time and those that have moved in. It is a Catholic church, and it is traditionally this whole neighborhood's been Catholic. And because of that, a lot of the people that have moved in are actually Catholics as well. They've moved in. It still has an immigrant vibe. So now you see a lot of people coming in from South America, or you see people coming in from.
There'll be a lot of Mexican immigrants in Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and coming to a place where they know the faith is similar. They felt comfortable there. And of course, the church was very welcoming because, they had some downtimes and they wanted back up. Our Chicago is a dark Chicago, not quite the real world Chicago, though the real world Chicago is a little dark. But it is a place where we have a great deal of homelessness. There is a lot of violence in Chicago, but we are in the suburbs. In fact, we're near Chicago Heights, which is in the southwest suburbs of Chicago. But this is still a place where there are homeless out here in these neighborhoods. They're junkies, and there are still some murders in this area from drug deals gone wrong, and crimes of passion. So we're playing in a darker Chicago. So with all that on the table, and to say I'll take a couple of breaks during the course of it. We got 4 hours, so I do like to give us all a chance to take a minute, shake out, get a drink. So let's start with this meeting between Diego and Dallas, and kind of, Jason, I'll let you set the scene of what Feast looks like. And once Dallas comes in, where did you take Dallas when she came in so everybody wouldn't see you?
I think Feast is like, I think like the main room, like I think there's like a little like reception area, but then you go a little bit beyond that, and there is just there are just like rows, like maybe 2 rows of a long big open air hall of bunk beds, right? And I think that like collected around the bunk beds, there are like folding tables and chairs, and a lot of the people who come to Feast they are playing cards and they're chatting and they're talking and they're and I think like I would have been just like roaming around, like kind of saying hi to the regulars and making sure everybody's okay and everything. And I think there's like an upstairs area where like admin and like various people who work there like are at. And it kind of looks down into this like sort of common area. And I think when Dallas comes in, I would have when Dallas comes in, I think it would depend on how Dallas approached me, but I probably would have like very quickly tried to get Dallas like, maybe like upstairs to like talk privately, right? Because, we have this history.
So Dallas,
so we're upstairs, like looking at a glass, looking down at the, at all the folks down there.
So Dallas, as our camera zooms into the two of you talking, what is that opening line that is probably in mid-spiel from Dallas about this going on?
Hey, kid, I need your help.
Yeah. So the last time you needed my help, I haven't.
Speak up.
Okay. Is our body involved?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. We can work with not yet. So what, go ahead, Dallas. What's going on? Dallas, have you ever thought about just, retiring?
I did for a month.
Oh, good.
It was hard. But these murders, you've heard of them, right? These murders.
Okay. Suddenly it's all clicking into place. Yeah. Some, yeah. I mean, I heard a few young women, some heroin addicts. Yeah. That was over like near St. Evelyn's.
You know where?
I mean, I know the general vicinity of where that was going on. Yeah, absolutely. I can. Do you just need directions? That's easy. I can do that.
Yeah, actually, I need to know exactly where.
I can do that. Are you familiar with Google Maps? Do you have that yet?
What? I don't even have a phone.
Okay. I can take you over there, I guess.
Great.
Yeah, I'll take you. Yeah, it's fine.
Thanks.
Do you want a Coke or something while you're here?
No, I'm fine. I ate.
And then I think, actually, I think I want to give you a chance to hit the influence move because that's experience at stake there. And I think like as we're going, I think I'll turn and I'll say, nope, Dallas. I am 2 months away from graduating from the University of Chicago, and I cannot be involved in. No, I'm so sorry. No.
Look, you gotta help me out here. It's important. You know it's important. Are you gonna let these women die? Is that more important to you? That fancy degree than women?
What about the police? Have you thought about that option?
Yeah, how long I've been doing this?
Dallas. All right. I think that's enough influence. I think that's enough the emotional pressure. If you want.
All right.
Tyler's cool with the role. Yeah.
Yes. Let's go to that manipulate someone role there. So you'll be using your charm.
Will I?
Do we have a die roller, Tyler?
Oh, yes, we do. I'm so sorry. Here, let me pull it up. We have a daily pure seal.
Oh.
Yeah.
I rolled in a different one, but I'll switch over to that one right now. What's my charm one? Oh, hey, 12.
Oh, okay. What happens?
Wow.
Only good roll I'll get all night.
Let's see here.
On a 10 up, if they do, I don't think it's advanced. They mark experience and get +1 forward.
Okay, yeah, I'll do it. So great. I think I'll just be like, okay, if I do this, will you at least promise that, I don't know, like maybe, we have classes here. You could take up a class like crochet or knitting or
I know how
something.
to knit.
You do knit?
Yeah, I know how.
Oh, okay. Oh, teach a class. That'd be good, right?
Why would I? No. I'll teach some self-defense. How's that?
Yeah. Well, well, if you'd said that 2 weeks ago, I'd have been like, okay, all right, sure, let's just go.
All right,
Thanks.
and then so the two of you are setting off to Chicago Heights and the St. Evelyn's area. Dallas, you have a vehicle of some sort, I'm imagining. What's
I
it
have
look
a
like?
motorcycle.
Oh, that's wonderful. Are you putting Diego on the back, or do you have like a sidecar?
He has a nice little helmet. It's fetching.
Oh, okay. We could take the bus. There's a bus that goes right by there.
No response.
Yeah, I know. I think that's my answer.
And so we're going to cut over to John and Void. And John, you've gone to visit Void, right, to talk about this. So Void, where does John find you?
He finds me at this small place called Owl's Beef. It's like a little drive-through kind of like diner, and they serve these like double dipped like beef sandwiches. I really like them. And Void's he's sitting there on this kind of red like plastic kind of stool at the counter, in this kind of black hooded cloak, like shoving this like beef fat dripping sandwich like into his mouth as you walk in.
All right, and I think we're going to have you've already moved over to the table, and I think our camera's going to shift from that past scene to you as you're. What are you saying to Void as the camera cuts to you?
When I first come to Void, I'll come up to him and say, "Hey, Void, good to see you."
JR.
Yeah. Well, it's been a while. I do miss when you used to bring these sandwiches to the cult meetings, or the group meetings. But so it's been a while since I've had one.
Hey, well, some me, JR, if you want. Look like you could do with putting on a few pounds. Yeah, and I'll call over to the guy. I'll be like, hey, get me a double dip. Yeah,
coming up.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. I've heard you've got your own group now, but you've been, you never seem to be one for the news, but have you been watching the news lately, or reading the newspapers lately?
You know me, JR. I don't need to read the newspapers. I get my information from a higher plane. Fox News. Eat up. Come on.
NPR. Seriously, who do you think you're talking to? No, but you've been seeing these copycat murders, right, from Tillerson?
Yeah.
You're a little bit more plugged into what's going on in that world these days. Do you know anything? Do you know anything about that, or?
And I think Void he finishes. He doesn't answer straight away. He finishes the last bite of his beef double dip, and he kind of picks up a napkin and daintily kind of wipes away the grease from his face. Ain't no copycat.
Well,
no.
Tillerson is dead. He was executed. Are you saying he faked his death?
Who knows? I'm just saying, there ain't no copycat. That's and all of a sudden, Void, he kind of lunges across the table and kind of grabs you by both wrists, like that. He looks into your face. I felt it. It's a disturbance in the, what shall I call it for a layman? Let's call it the psychic static. that noise that's floating around your head, you know, fuck it. You might call it a bad Wi-Fi signal. I don't. I call it the ether, and it's around. And I can tell from that there's bad fucking voodoo going down in there, man.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it too, but you know, I'm been at the library recently, so I haven't, you know, been able to look into it more. But do you? So you're saying? So are you saying you think that there's something supernatural going on here?
Supernatural. You've really lost the touch, haven't you? Supernatural. What does that mean?
Well, I mean, I think we both left the group for similar reasons because Father Smith was full of shit, and we both know it. But I have come to the conclusion that most people like him are full of shit. And
do you think I'm full of shit, JR?
Well, after eating a couple of sandwiches like that, I think you are, yeah. But I think that you know, I'm not sure if this stuff is real anymore, but I think you know what's going on. That's what I think.
Yeah. There's disturbances. That's all I'm saying. There's disturbances in the static. And I'd quite like to roll. I've got this like move I can do like at the beginning of a session.
That's what I was just going to say. I think this is a perfect time for you to do your connect the dots.
Yeah, connect the dots at the beginning of each mystery. If you look for the wider patterns, roll plus sharp. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay, I'm going to roll real dice because for some reason it's saying cannot be reached when I click that roll for your party link.
It's the URL is slightly garbled. If you just I think HTTP is in there twice in the URL.
Oh, I see. Yeah, cool. Okay, cool.
But physical dice is it's fine too.
Okay,
I trust everybody.
I've got them here, so I'll just roll those. Ooh, so I roll a 6 plus my sharp. I know you looked at my character. Yeah, my sharp is 2, so that's an 8. So on a 7 to 9, hold 1. Spend your hold during the mystery.
And tell me, in your connecting the dots and the way that you do this, is it a thing where the ether speaks to you, gives you insight? Or is it more that you can see these patterns ahead of time and you follow them? How does that manifest?
No, I think for Void, like, you know, he doesn't buy into this kind of sort of mumbo jumbo kind of occult bullshit. It's really like visceral and kind of upfront, like for him, this thing. It's like right under people's noses and they just don't see it. So I think kind of what happens here is that he leans across to JR and he grabs like the greasy beef sandwich out of like JR's hand. Yeah. And then he just kind of, he stands up like from the table and he slams the fucking beef sandwich like bang down on the table in between them. And it splats out in this mess, this fucking mess of meat and fat and whatnot. And he starts rubbing his fingers through it, like both of his hands, like tracing it like all over the table. And then kind of sits back down and stares like at these patterns, like in this fucking beef grease. And that's what speaks to him.
Do you wish to ask one of your questions? As from behind the counter, a man goes, "Hey, buddy, I told you before. No smacking my sandwiches and playing with them on the table. Somebody's got to clean that table, buddy. If you're gonna be like that, get the fuck out of here.
Hey, calm down. I'm gonna tip you big. Don't worry about it, big man. Yeah, and I'm gonna ask one of these questions.
All right.
Where and when will the next critical event occur?
Tonight, within 2 blocks of St. Evelyn's. You can see a cheese that definitely reminds you of St. Evelyn's, and you could see in the grease pattern out there that that in that area around it, something is moving, something is hungry.
And I'm gonna repeat those, like almost in this voice that's like, it's not Void's voice. It's kind of it's like 3 octaves higher and like kind of disembodied, and it's like, something is hungry, something tonight. And then I kind of come back to, and I pull out 2 like $10 bills and just like slam them down in the beef grease and go, come on, JR, we need to go.
JR, you follow? Or John, you follow him?
Yeah, I follow him. I guess I do also, just we don't have to do it now, but I also do have a beginning of the mystery move.
Oh, yes, you do. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
Let's see. Why don't you go ahead and roll that, because I would guess my sort of thought is, since you were coming to him, you were already figuring that you were going to have to get involved somehow.
Yeah, and this is the woman or man with a plan. Roll sharp, and I get hold that I can spend to be where I need to be and prepared. So let's see. So that is a 10.
Oh, fantastic! So you got 2.
Yeah. All right. So I have 2 hold.
Excellent. And so as you follow out, the guy behind the counter kind of looks at you, John, and just sort of shakes his head, looks over at Boyd as he's going, and goes,
and John just mouths, "I'm sorry," and puts another 10 on the table.
And as you head out the door, the little bell rings. And just then, as the sun, orange and dying, slides behind the skyscrapers of Chicago, and a shadow is cast over you. Do you have a car, John?
Yeah, he drives an old 1993 Astro van that is filled to the brim with books.
Excellent. And so you set off, and it sounds like off to St. Evelyn's.
So, yes.
All right. So I want to point out that we all have 2 luck to kind of reflect the shorter game. If you spend a luck, it immediately gives you a 12, or it could completely negate any damage that you take from a single action. So we've set up our intro bit. I think I'm going to do a first break here, so we can all kind of think about it a moment and prepare ourselves to head into St. Evelyn's. And I'm going to start with you, Jason and Kate, having gotten there first. All right. So let's take 5 minutes, and so we'll come back at about 11:03, 11:04. All right. See y'all then. All right, we'll wait for the other two to get back. Y'all been having fun so far? The con? I had a great game of Scup today that Darren Brox ran. I hadn't played it before. Boy, that Scup is a cool game.
Darren's really good GM too. I like playing GM with Darren. That's great. Yeah, I've had all my games have been great this weekend. I've been in some really good games. Yeah, I've got a bunch. Like Swords Without Master with Pat was really good. Like that was super, super fun. I haven't played that game in a while, but it was fun to kind of get back into it. It was good.
All right, well, everybody's back. So we'll get going. Roaring up towards St. Evelyn's on your motorcycle there, Dallas. Probably hanging on fairly tightly as Diego behind you. It is just
very tightly. This is absurd.
And the church, it's just after sunset, and we're playing in October. So it's probably in that 5 to 6 o'clock range, and you can see the church, the old church itself is there, and there are lights on inside of it. But there's much more activity in the little like fellowship hall that's next to it, and you can see the sign that's up where they do feeding the homeless pretty much every night at St. Evelyn's. And you can see there's a few people that are lingering outside, smoking cigarettes. The doors are open and welcoming, and you see some people inside as well. And so you roar up.
Well, so Dallas, maybe this is as we're walking up, I say, if you find the person who did these things, is it your intention to engage in extrajudicial justice, or are we going to call the cops?
Aren't you legally required to report it if I tell you otherwise?
I don't have my license yet, and so right now, we don't have those requirements.
Well, it's handy.
Yes. So anyway, back to my original point. Are we checking the vigilante box tonight, or are we checking the
Good Samaritan,
normal, rational citizen doing their civic duty box?
Those are very extreme. Neither.
Okay. Interesting. What plane of existence are we operating on tonight then, Dallas?
Somewhere between ghosts and demons.
Wait, what?
Come on.
Okay. All right. Yeah, okay. I know. Okay. Is this about your brother? I know about your brother.
Everyone knows about my brother.
Okay. I mean, but I don't know if like everyone knows about your connection to your brother, because your brother is the
fair.
one. I looked it up. Did your parents name him Void, or is that
no?
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. You just said ghosts and demons, and I immediately thought of his work that he does.
All right, so there's two options here. Either you think I'm crazy and you humor me, or you think I'm honest and you kind of steel yourself a little for what we're going to go look at.
I'm going to select both. How about that?
Okay, that's reasonable.
All right.
Got a weapon?
Actually, let me look. I don't know.
Question is if you carry it with you.
I don't know if I carry it with me. I do have I have a multi-tool. I have multi-tool and I have a hockey stick in my car. But right now, I pull out my multi-tool and I'm like, I can unscrew the shit out of somebody if we get into trouble here. I got it, or clip their nails. We have options. Okay. Turns out.
Okay.
So yeah, what are weapons? Yeah, weapons. Are you currently with weapons?
Yes.
All right. Like a knife or something, or boot knife. Okay.
Yeah.
No guns.
Well,
Okay. I'll just. Nah, it's okay. It's probably best if I don't know. All right, in we go.
As you begin heading up, I'm guessing, are you going to the Fellowship Center where most of the people are? Or are you going into the church, Dallas?
I'm looking actually for the murder sites, like where these people were found.
Oh, okay. And so as the paper has shown where the bodies. Well, see, that's sort of the thing. Is so far they've only found 2 of the bodies. Both of them, when they were found, had been horribly mutilated. What they know of is the girls have disappeared from around this area. And when the first body showed up, it was mostly kind of looked over. But within 2 weeks, that's what started the rumors and with the people disappearing. That's why they're talking about Frank.
Were the bodies found near here as well? Like, did Frank hunt and drop them off in the same area?
They certainly were found in the same area. Usually, both of them were found in an alley, just put into a dumpster.
Are there like flowers and shit set out where these people were found? Do people care?
I think that, I think that probably the second one, people really took more notice to that one. Not that there was anything that was particularly more striking about it. It's just that maybe that bit of residual guilt that no one cared when the first girl turned up. And so everyone's focused more on the second.
Fair. Okay.
So we want to go find one of these shrines? Is that the idea?
Yeah, she's going to go find one and start looking around.
All right. And again, this is all within several blocks, so it's not hard walking. Or you could even, you could tool on with your motorcycle if you'd like. Are you walking?
She's walking.
Okay. So as you start heading down the sidewalk, Diego, you see a girl that you recognize. You've seen her before at Feast.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at our NPCs, you'll see Shelley Ford in there. A picture of her.
Shelley Ford. Oh, yeah, okay.
And as she kind of notices you, she comes running up to you, and you could see her eyes are red, and she looks like she's been crying. Her nose is all raw, and you can also kind of tell that she's probably high. She's probably shot up sometime not too long ago.
I say, hey, Shelley, are you okay? What's going on?
Diego, I'm looking. My girlfriend, she's disappeared. I know she came here 2 nights ago, and then I haven't seen her since. And it's not like her. It's not like her at all. Becca wasn't like, well, she'd gotten off the stuff. She had a real job.
Just calm down a minute. Here, let's just go into the fellowship building, and let's just get you a cup of coffee or something. And I think, Tyler, what I want to do is, like, I want to take her into the fellowship hall, and I have this move called Oops, where I just like stumble on something, and I just tell you that I want to stumble on something. So I'd like to oops something inside the fellowship hall.
All right, as you start leading her in, and she's got a little bit of a shake to her. She's like, Diego, I've been trying to stay off of it, but I mean, I'm just so upset.
It's okay. It's okay. I mean, we can work on that. Let's just figure out this Becca situation. So when was the last time you saw her?
2 nights ago. She come here to find me, and we had a little bit of a fight. I mean, I told her that I was trying, but she was being responsible. She told me that that it hurt her, that she couldn't. She talked about leaving me.
It's all right. It's all right. Let's just go inside. Let's get a cup of coffee. It's been a pretty long day. And yeah, let's just stay focused. Let's just stay focused on right now. And so let's go find somewhere to sit down. Let's get some coffee. And I think like I'm just kind of scanning the room. Maybe I'm not even like particularly looking for anything. I'm just like trying to find a place to set her down, right, and grab a cup of coffee, that kind of thing.
Okay. As you come in, there are people milling around. They have a table set up where they have food and the big coffee urn. And as you come in, you can also see that kind of sitting at the end of it, of the table, not doing any of the work. We have a lot of the housefraus kind of doing the work there. There's this older lady, Eunice Baptiste, but you don't know her name yet. But she's there in the NPCs. And as you come in, she looks up and, Shelley, dear, have you found Becca? And Shelley's like, no, Miss Eunice, not yet. And she kind of cuts a look to you, Diego, like, bitch.
What's going on here? Is everything cool?
Well, dear Shelley, she came and said that Becca, such a good girl, getting herself put back together, had, well, she was missing, and I'm just worried all these terrible things going on. When poor unfortunates go astray, I would hate for something to have happened to her.
Poor unfortunates? That's not a very... I'm sorry, Ms.
Baptiste, Eunice.
Ms. Baptiste. We'll stick with that for now. Ms. Baptiste, I'm not... poor unfortunates. I really think that's not the right way to approach the people who come here. I mean, a lot of these people just need help, or they're just in a particularly low moment, and they still are people.
Of course they are. I've been here with this soup kitchen for over 50 years. Oh, I suppose soup kitchen isn't what they like us to call it anymore.
Well, it's a bit of an antiquated term. Yes, that's true. But nevertheless, and I think I'm just trying to extract myself from her because she's just, I don't know, I know her type.
And Shelley's like, come on over here. And she kind of is pulling you away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you find Dallas. What are you doing? Did you follow, or did you go off on your own?
I went off on my own like a real hero.
Excellent. All right. So you're moving around, and maybe you caught in the paper for sure where they found that second body, and so you could head in that direction.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get there and investigate a mystery. Kind of take a look around, see what I can find.
All righty. So rolling with sharp.
Yeah. 7.
All right. So you're going to get to hold one and question there.
Where did it go?
All right. As you're looking around here, and there are flowers that have been set out. And you could see where the police tape was here originally, but now it's kind of just left in tatters hanging there.
Yeah, and Dallas is not really caring about the flowers and the candles. Like, she is kicking them out of the way to get evidence. Like, she is not respecting the sanctity of a memorial. And
as you are looking through, checking out this dumpster, looking down in it, you have to figure the police have already given this the solid once-over. And, indeed, no one's been putting any trash into this dumpster since this has happened. So they cleaned it out completely. And so looking down in it, you could still see congealed at the bottom a bit of blood. And as you move around the dumpster, checking out to the side, you can see where the back fence has kind of a loose board. It's one of those wooden, and then there's another alley heading out from the other side. Kind of loose, and as you push it to the side, you can see down the other alley in the street light, as now it's gotten pretty dim. You can see where there is a streak, like 3 fingers, has gone down the side of the building. It's no more than that, but you've you've been through this sort of thing before. As you squeeze through and look, that's dry blood.
Okay.
So you feel absolutely certain that this is the way the killer went, but it heads off the other side of the alley, heads back into suburban houses.
Interesting. I'm going to turn around as though expecting that kid to be there and immediately disappointed when he's not.
All right. And yeah, you realize you're alone.
Fuck me. All right, I'm going to go look for him.
As you start back up the alley, something in the lighting changes. The end of the alley seems so far away, and there's this very bright white light, brighter than the street light should be. And as you're walking and looking, the molding between the bricks seems to give off like a red light, sort of rises and falls up and down between it. From the end of the alley, you see a figure step around. It's a woman, and if you look in our character keeper, you see the silhouette of Sister Improbus. You could see the horns rising up off of her head. There is some sort of curved blade she has, and she's dragging it along the bricks. Behind you, you hear a voice as you turn to see, also in that folder, Mother Superior. Her head just hovering there about 2 feet behind you. Her body's there too, but it's her face. Where is Frank?
I'm looking for him too. Think he went that way.
You have suffered pain. Pain that Frank inflicted on you.
Yep.
You're not the one we seek. But we will find him. No one escapes us for long. And she says that. She sort of is fading back, the shadows creeping around her. Do you wish to say anything? You're pretty certain she's disappearing. Say nothing?
No, do not engage.
And so she disappears into the darkness behind you, and you sort of have turned that scraping, that has gotten like it's just right behind you. And as you turn, the alley is completely normal. Outside on the street, you see an old van go driving by and pass. And I'm going to cut over to John and Void. As you're driving down the kind of center of the St. Evelyn's neighborhood, on either side, it's gotten dark. There are a few alleys and storefronts, and some of those kind of storefronts and then apartments above them of a older neighborhood center. And you know that St. Evelyn's is just down the way. John, what are you doing? Have you tried to engage Void further in what's going on here? Or are you driving in stony silence?
I think that Void is writing in stony silence, but John keeps trying to make small talk with him and just doesn't go well. So it's like, I seem to remember you saying that you had family in town. Is that correct? No? Oh, sure.
Yeah, and yeah. Every time you ask Void a question, he just like changes the station, like on the radio.
Gotcha. And yeah, and after several unsuccessful attempts at small talk, you know, he'll say, "It's so. Do you Void? Is this just? Are we acting simply on the patterns of beef grease, or do you happen to have any inside knowledge that more is going to happen near this church? We're headed to the church, right? Just FYI, because if we're not, I need to get out of this lane."
First, JR, don't fucking mock me. It's not funny. Seriously.
No, seriously, traffic is terrible. I need to get out of this lane if we're not. So please tell me now, or else it's going to take us 20 more minutes.
Yeah, right. Take a right now. Right.
Okay. Yeah. And he does. Yeah. Sorry. The Dan Ryan is terrible. Because if this is like 5 or 6 o'clock, this is rush hour in Chicago. Oh no, and I've driven in rush hour in Chicago. It's terrible.
Yeah. And then Void like leans down and he just switches off the radio. Donk. He's like, "What? Why did you leave, JR?"
I mean, well, Father Smith is full of shit, and you know, about 3 weeks before we left, he and I broke up, and you know, it was just he was full of shit about a lot of things, not just about not just about our Lord and Savior, the Lord of the Flies, things like that, but just a lot of other things, and that just caused me to do some soul searching and reevaluating where I wanted to be in life, and in a satanic cult is not where I wanted to be. My career was taking off at the library, and I was missing
yeah, sure, but like 3 weeks after you left, I saw get me using this phrase, I saw the light too, and I fucking left as well. But
yeah.
I sent you. God, you never replied to any of my letters I sent you. Like you could have come and joined me, and we could have been, we could have gone somewhere together. Look what I've built around me, and you could have been a part of that.
Okay, well, I wasn't sure if it was you or someone trying to murder me, because they were all letters cut out from magazines, and B, like I was going the opposite direction. I was trying to get my life in order, and I guess from your perspective, you were doing the same thing. But I was, I have to deal with bureaucracy now and meetings.
Pull over here.
Oh, shit. Sorry. There's honking behind, as he immediately changes lanes.
Is this the church, or have you directed him somewhere different?
Oh, well, I think the pattern that I got from the beef grease that told me that the church, didn't it, where it would happen?
The church is the center, and then around somewhere in that 2-block area around it.
Yeah, so we're going to the church. We're there.
All right, then I want to ask a question. You're from this area, and your mother was a victim of Frank's murderous rage.
Yeah, that's right.
So probably you grew up in this neighborhood. Does that sound fair?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I imagine I grew up like fucking like 10 blocks from here. Like, yeah.
All right. And so as you pull up to the church, I don't know how much you keep up with the old church. I have a feeling that you probably have not been to confession in some time, but you see someone that you recognize. You see Father Lehane. He's also in the sheet, and you cannot believe that he is still there. He's, pushing around 75, but he's been there now for 40 years easily.
Yeah, well, it's no surprise. It's no surprise that the Catholic Church hide their abusers within their ranks.
Oh my. That's bringing us to a dark place. So as you see him, he's moving towards the fellowship hall. And I don't know if you're wanting to tap on the idea of the father having done things. Is that your intent? If so, I would personally rather we fairly heavily veil that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm totally happy with like not going there if people want to like reverse that and get out.
Yeah, I would rather us kind of keep away, again, that kind of abuse of the helpless as one of our initial lines there. That I think that could stay out of our dark story.
Cool. Yeah, let's rewind it then.
Now,
Let's just say, yeah, I remember him because he beat me.
Right. I mean, there is entirely the sort of thing of, you know, these strict Catholic priests probably would catch you. They felt like they were able to, if a child was doing badly, to, you know, to paddle them. This is, you know, the 70s. You know, the heck, anybody could grab somebody off the street and paddle a kid. It was just, you know, it was wildness in the 70s. But no, so it's more along the lines of he was an abusive person in the sense of he was cruel, harsh, treated these kids, you know, with the switch. Okay, that's perfect.
Yeah, didn't spare the rod, basically.
Excellent. All right, and so you see him moving from the church towards the fellowship hall, and there's people going in. You could tell that this is where they do feed the homeless, and you know, there are some folks smoking and lounging around outside. What are you and John going to do, Void? What are you heading into fellowship hall?
Yeah, I think we are, but I think like John like parks the car up, and we get out, and I say to John, you know, head in. I just need to have a word with Father Lehane first.
Sure, yeah, and he John gets out of the car and he heads into the fellowship hall.
I'll get to you heading in, since that's going to give us a meet up with another character. As I'm going to have, we're going to go with you, continue with you for just a few more moments here, Paul. As Void, you head up to Father Lehane, who looks up and he recognizes you. Sort of that you were a former parishioner. There was some importance to, you know, your mother's demise, and you probably gotten a little bit of a reputation that he would have kept up with your more recent activities.
Yeah, I think I stride up to him like across the pavement, and as I get close to him, I kind of like I sort of throw back my hood.
Vincent.
And I'll go down on like one knee in front of him and say, Father Lehane.
My child, you don't need to. And he's kind of looking around embarrassed. You don't need to do that. And he'll reach down to like try and help you up so that he's close.
And as he reaches down, I just like stand straight up and like knock his hands away.
Vincent, I suppose that perhaps some dark memories have been stirred up by what's been going on here recently. Have you returned to the church for comfort, my son?
Your fake religion offers me shallow comfort, Father, which I opt not to take. I'm here to prevent further pain and suffering.
That is a blessed cause, my son. Do you wish to volunteer? We could use all of the helping hands.
Are you asking me to pour soup?
Every little bit would help, my son.
You really don't know who I've become, do you?
I've heard rumors that you have strayed from the path.
Maybe I've just chosen a different path. But that wouldn't occur to you, would it? Because you're so blinkered. You're so blinkered with your tunnel vision.
There is only one path to salvation, Vincent. The church.
I'd like to basically scoff in his face. And I'd like to use my move, which is contrary.
Okay.
Which is when you receive someone's honest advice on the best course of action and then do something else instead, mark experience. If you do exactly the opposite of their advice, you take +1 on going.
All
so
right.
I am gonna like scoff in the face of the Catholic Church here and say you your fake plastic religion will not help me on my path. I will take the other path. I will take the other path, Father. And I kind of reach out and just like kind of gently kind of stroke my cracked like black painted fingernails like kind of down his cheek and turn away.
As he flinches away. Then why have you come, sinner? What purpose can you have in this house?
I'm going to ignore him and stride straight into his house of worship. He can't fucking stop me.
All right. And as you stalk off, we're going to cut to John as you come in. And, well, actually, we're cutting to you, Diego. But so we'll have a moment or two that you can be talking before John comes in.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I was mostly just interested in doing my oops move. I wanted to find something useful. So,
all right.
It says that, what does it say? Blah, blah, blah. If you want to stumble across something important, tell the keeper. You will find something important and useful, although not necessarily related to your immediate problems. I feel like my only immediate problem is vengeful old biker lady who I helped cover up a murder with. So that's my immediate problem. So anything else beyond that is probably fine.
All right. So as you're sitting there talking to Shelley, and she's telling you about Becca, and it seems like Becca had really gotten her shit together.
Yeah.
She'd had this job for several months, and Shelley was trying to stay clean, and they'd had a place. Well, they'd had this fight, and as you start digging a little, she says, "Well, Diego, that's not exactly the last time I saw her."
What do you mean?
Well, after we fought, I followed her. I just followed her to make, I figured she'd forgive me, and I wanted to be close by, and so I followed her back home, but she didn't go back home.
Okay, where'd she go?
She went to a bar. She met some woman there, and like she was flirting.
Well, you just fought. Emotions are crazy at times like that, and I'm not saying so. I mean, okay. I mean, so she was just flirting. Whatever. Everybody flirts. That's a thing. We all flirt, right? I flirt. I flirt all the time. Ha! Flirt.
Well, I'm just saying that. Then later, and she's pulled out her phone, and she says, I started calling her later that night. I stormed off. I didn't want to see it. And she pulls up a picture that shows this woman, dark-haired woman, pretty, probably mid-30s, early 30s, that's sitting also with Becca, which if you look on there, you'll see Becca. She's right pretty. Yeah. She says, but she never answered any of the calls. And when I told the cops that she had, been with this woman, they just tossed me off there.
you know, people turn their phones off or let their phones die all the time. I'm sure the fact she didn't pick up is maybe just something like that. It's probably no big deal. Um, going to the cops because your girlfriend is angry at you is a little extreme. But so, I mean, do you think something's really wrong here? Do you think something's going on?
Diego, people are missing on the streets.
Yes, as I have been reminded just 20 minutes ago. In fact, I'm very well aware of it. I'm actually with someone who's looking into it. So, I'll keep my eye open for Becca. Any idea where she might have? I mean, do you have any idea where she might have gone? Or
no, I went into that bar the next day. The bartender said that she left with that woman.
What was the name of the bar?
It was called The Last Gasp.
That's yeah. Okay. Well, all right.
And not only that, like I say, I'm scared because of the girls are saying, especially the girls that kind of work the street. They've been seeing things out there. They feel like someone's following them. And a friend of mine, Gina, she said she was going home. Now, I mean, Diego, she was probably high, but she said she saw a nun moving through the alleys. It wasn't like any nun she'd ever seen. She said when the light hit her face, it was made of stone.
Okay. Like she was, you sure she didn't just say she was stone-faced, like serious? Nuns.
She said she was carved out of granite. Like she looks kind of out the window towards the church. Like what the church is made out of.
Stone. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'll go check out The Last Gasp.
Thank you, Diego. And she'd come across, she'll hug you. The cops never listen to us.
It's wrong. They should. You are a citizen like everyone else. But it's a really difficult, complicated situation. And you know what? I'm gonna look into it. I've got this friend who's here, who's also looking into this. Coincidentally, maybe we'll stumble onto something. So.
Oh, thank you. And she jots something down real quick. Hey, there's my number. If you find anything, call me.
I will. Leave your phone on. Make sure it's charged up. So
I've got minutes. And as she's saying that, and you've kind of had looked backward, over towards the church when she pointed and then back towards her. And it's then that, it took that moment of turning back that you realized, was that John coming in the door?
Right, yeah. Nice.
And John, you've come in and you see sitting at a table, there's Diego.
Wouldn't be unusual for me to be in a place like this, but
right.
Yeah.
No, it isn't feast, but it wouldn't be be out of character.
Yeah. So John immediately kind of looks around, buttons his top collar, and just walks up to the table and kind of awkwardly, it's like, Diego, right? Good to see you here, young man.
Yeah, you're you're Mr.
Yes,
Mr.
Rossi,
right? At the library at the university. Wow, it's so great to see you. Do you volunteer here at St. Evelyn's?
No. I'm just looking into that thing I told you that I might be looking into.
Diego, thanks. And she heads out.
Thanks. Okay, yeah. And I kind of just get a little closer, like I assume there's enough din where we can kind of chat quietly, and I say, what are you doing here, John?
Well, I made contact with someone who I used to know that's into kind of weird occult stuff, since that seems to be. Yeah, I told you I was looking into this, and
yeah. I mean, I know, yeah.
And he brought me here. He's kind of a weird
is he
guy.
Here? Who's your friend?
I think he's in the car. Like when I came in, it looked like he was about ready to talk to a priest, so we might get kicked out of here soon. But
I think that's a perfect time for Void to walk in.
Well, actually, I have a little break on that.
Okay.
So as you say that, it's now, Dallas, that you've come back around the corner. I mean, it was only, block and a half away, so it didn't take you long to get back. Are you, after this event, seeing these nuns? I mean, what do you look like? How are you feeling after seeing that? What's on your mind?
I think she's a little pale, but also just like has a look of someone who's just been kind of pissed off a little. But she's walking towards her motorcycle because there's a shotgun in the side bag. And she feels like she might need that now.
As you come around the corner, you could see Father Lane, and you could see that as you've walked around, he's, several, and you kind of follow his face. There's that anger in his face, and you recognize the old man. Probably haven't seen him or talked to him in years, but you recognize him since you were part of this congregation as well. As you follow his gaze, as you see someone going in the door, and the hood's back. So as they disappear inside, you're pretty sure who that is.
I go into the church.
All right. So you're heading in after. So we'll come back then to you, Paul, as you've walked in, as Void has walked in.
Yeah, and Void is gonna go straight up to the table where Dallas and JR are, and
Diego.
pull up a seat. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Diego and JR. Pull up a seat, and just sit down. And I'm gonna grab like a bowl of soup and just start fucking eating the soup.
Okay, I look at John. You didn't tell me that your friend was Void Matthews.
Yes. We I don't know if I've told you. We actually go way back. We haven't talked in a while, but we've known each other for quite some time.
I actually I kind of go way back with a Matthews of my own, as it turns out.
At that moment, Dallas, you come striding in and see the three of them over at a table.
Convenient. Hey, we gotta go.
Do you have the shotgun at this point?
No, she thought better of bringing that into a church. She had to think about it, though.
I look and I just say to both to this whole collection of people, this has been quite an evening. I say, well, okay, we're all here now. Family reunion, and also the librarian and his student.
Yeah, and like Void will just stand up with this half-eaten bowl of soup and go, yeah, we're off to like save like some poor soul from being eaten by a fucking hell demon, and just like drop the bowl of soup on the floor and go, come on, let's go.
Good Lord. And so no reaction to seeing Dallas?
Well, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, no, she walked over.
Just walked over to the table and said, we gotta go.
Oh, shit. Okay. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize that. Can I rewind that? Then?
Certainly.
I didn't realize that. I thought you were still standing like open.
No, she came over and was like, we gotta go.
Okay. So instead, like, I'll I've got the bowl of soup, like, and I'm got it shoved, and like, I'll literally like freeze like mid scoop and like drop the bowl, like, and there's minestrone like all over the fucking floor of the church. I look at, oh my god.
Yeah.
Dallas?
Yeah. It's good to see you.
Yeah, I think it's kind of good to see you as well.
Weird, right?
Kind of weird, but hey, I saw it coming.
Yeah, me too. But that's why we gotta go. Creepy demon nuns.
You what?
There were creepy
Wait,
demon
Did you
nuns.
say nuns?
Yes.
Nuns? Did you say nuns? Oh, that's really funny. What a coincidence.
Yeah,
A night full of coincidences. I just talked to someone who said they saw a creepy nun.
They probably did. And I found a trail. We should go follow it.
Okay. And I look to John. I'm like, I feel like these two would be a great test subject for some sort of trauma researcher out there. I mean, there is a whole story here. And, just throwing that out there.
Yeah, we're right here.
Yeah.
I know. I know. I am too. That's the thing I can't really wrap my head around. So what would you have us do right now, Dallas?
Well, did everyone else bring a weapon but you? I know you didn't.
I mean, I've got a golf club in my
precious.
car. I mean,
what about you?
I have a knife in my car.
Go get it.
Oh yeah, sure. So you know Void?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
they're brother and sister.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Yes. Yeah. I'll definitely go in my car and get some things. Yeah.
right.
Crazy demon nuns. Are these like normal, like angry nuns, or were you being literal?
And I think we're making our way out, aren't we?
Yeah.
We are. Yeah, we're all walking out.
Yeah, sorry, go on, Kate.
I was just saying, as like the Diego and John leave, I think Dallas stalls for a minute and then like gives her brother an awkward hug.
I think that as we all stand up from the table, like kind of Void, like he picks up like a salt shaker, like from the table, and then as Dallas goes to hug him, he's like, "Happy 50th birthday," and just like puts this into her hand. Like, yeah. Sorry, I didn't get you a proper present, but hey, you kind of haven't got like a permanent address because you're a fucking vagabond, and I'm gonna hug her.
Try not to die.
Excellent. And so
I'm gonna keep the salt and tuck it in my pocket because salt is always useful.
very true.
Yep, this is normal behavior. You bet.
All right.
Yeah.
So the two of you are kind of falling behind as everyone's walking out. John, Diego, while you have this moment of privacy, the two of you there, do y'all say anything to each other?
Yeah, I'll be like, this is pretty crazy. I did not think this is how my night was going to go. But I'm happy to see you at least. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, I mean it's good. It's good to see you. I knew I had to go see Void, so it's nice to have a friendly face and someone who I can trust to not be Void.
Yeah, no, same. I mean, I've never met Void, but Dallas is Dallas can be a bit of she's a bit extra, as the kids say.
Yeah. That I feel like that runs in the family.
Extraness, yes. They are both very, very a lot. But that's okay. I feel strangely compelled to see this through. I want to find out what this is all about.
Yeah, I mean, me too. I mean, I don't exactly know what's happening here, but I mean, it could be a good case study, or it could be something else.
I mean, John, I know you're trying to keep a good front going right now, but I know that you are secretly very, very excited about the possibility of occult activity. I mean, we could just say
Well,
it.
Yeah. I mean, because like I used to be involved in these groups, and I kind of fell out of it, and now I'm not sure, and just because most of the stuff can be explained by just some psycho with a knife, but just hearing some of this other stuff that it's maybe there's
Crazy hell nuns. I mean, it's a thing, right?
Yeah.
Can I ask John? Have you not done any sort of investigations like this over this time? Are you more of a researcher, and you haven't done field work? Or are you just trying to protect Diego from that side of your life?
He hasn't done field work because I think I said that he left that group about 10 years ago. It's been 10 years since he's done actual field work. Everything else has been like career focusing and researching.
Okay.
But so I think that, I mean, a little bit of both. He's been trying to protect Diego, but he legitimately hasn't done any field work since he left that group. And
yeah, but can I add that, like, before you left the group, you were the most promising student there.
Excellent. And so the two of you have made it to your van, John, and you can open up the door and pull out your knife. Is that really the only weapon you have with you, or?
No, he sorry, I just had to look at everything. So yeah, he has a kind of, he pulls out, like a knife that's kind of antiquated looking. He puts, like this, this burlap bag of something around his neck, tucks it into his shirt just in case. But he also pulls out this giant fucking magnum, sticks it in his coat.
Oh, great. Okay. Yep. And I just like hold up my multi-tool, right? And I'm like, all right. John
looks, he gives you his knife. Just, here you go. That's
okay.
Just sorry, there's some things in my past I haven't told you about yet.
I like take the knife out and like cut my finger on it accidentally.
That's
God,
perfectly okay.
Well, at least we know it's sharp. Jesus.
About that time will be when Dallas and Void, you make your way over there as well. And so the four of you, there's people around, but y'all are pretty isolated in the parking lot there to make your plan. So Dallas, you're walking with purpose. What do you say to this group?
Right.
Yeah.
Let's be clear. Everything went dark, bright light, none with horns, none without horns. Asked me where to find this man we're after I had seen some blood down an alley.
Was one of the nuns carved from granite?
No.
So we're possibly looking at 3 hell nuns then.
All right, good to know. These people didn't seem too interested in fucking with me as long as I didn't get in their way. I think that's a good plan.
I'm very into this plan. Just want to throw that out there.
As Dallas describes what happened, is there? I'm thinking maybe using my dark past move. Is there? Going through all of the things that I know. Would I know anything? Have I heard anything about these nuns before?
I think that's it's certainly possible. Let's find out. All
right. So that's plus weird, which is a +1 for me. Well, 4.
Ooh. You have heard of this sort of thing. These are said to be the seductresses of hell. They are tempters, like succubi, but primarily focused on those who study, those who delve into knowledges, and they offer the opportunity to learn more. But it's temptations they give to people who are willing to listen to their blasphemies.
And I'll say something. I'll repeat that to the group. I think he'll even pull out something from the back of his van, like a book that, like, there's a lot of books in his van that are very reputable looking. This looks like something that was like published in like the 70s, and there's like a naked lady on the cover, and he just looks like, oh yeah. But the descriptions that she gave of the nuns do actually kind of match what's in the book. But yeah.
All right. So do you set off to investigate that area you came from, Dallas? Is that what
yeah, I'm gonna head back that way towards the blood smear that I saw.
Can Void like interject here?
Certainly.
Like as Dallas is like, yeah, we need to go this way. Can I kind of like can I physically interfere with you, Dallas? You okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I felt like you kind of point and like, yeah, we need to go like this way. And I just like grab your kind of wrist. I'm like, I know where we need to go to find where this disruption in the static will strike next.
Can't you just call it Frank?
Oh, I think when you say that, like I let go of your wrist and I let it drop. And like I can't believe you said that.
Frank Tillerson?
No, he's not. It's not Frank Tillerson.
That's who the nuns asked me for, was Frank.
It's an astral projection of
Frank.
Of
Sure.
Frank.
Still Frank.
It's not Frank. It's not the same man that killed our fucking mother.
Okay. Then why are you here?
I'm here to fucking avenge.
That's right. So let's go.
Sorry, quick question. So now we're going after the long executed serial killer who killed your mother.
Yeah.
That's who we're expecting to find now. And we're trying to beat the strange
Oh,
hell
shut up,
nuns.
Normie!
The
Do you not
strange
get it?
hell nuns. I just want to make sure that, and oh my goodness, and my and also my boyfriend. I mean my
Your boyfriend.
my mentor has a gun. You have a shotgun. This is just a lot going on. There's a lot going on.
Take a breath, honey.
And I cut my thumb earlier too. See that?
I don't know if this is a thing or not, but I'd like to kind of like reach out and like put my palm like onto like fucking Diego's forehead and force the knowledge of the static into his fucking brain.
I think I just remove your hand. I'm like, what are you doing? Just stop. What are you doing? Okay, I'm sticking with this. I turn to John. I'm sticking with this because I can tell you're really into this, and I want to make sure that you're okay because you are a colleague, a professional colleague that I care about very, very much. And you, to Dallas, we're old friends, and I really, really want to see you through this because you deserve to go teach a self-defense class.
I'm working on my trauma, just like you said to.
Hey, you know what? It's that's good. We should talk about that, right?
Yeah.
We should talk about that.
But what about me?
You're a total weirdo, and but John seems to think you've got some kind of particular insight, so I'm into it. Can I at least have a better weapon than this knife?
Yeah, fuck. I will like literally reach into my like black cloak and pull out this vicious looking fucking loop of wire.
Like, okay, maybe something a little less.
I'll hand you my
mafioso.
hand cannon.
Thank you. That's
Yeah.
oh my goodness. Wow.
I'll wave it in your face and be like, yeah, you can have this, but you need to get intimate. Is it?
No, just give him the gun. It's fine.
I take the gun. Boy, this is
we're all gonna get shot in the arse now, are we? Great.
This is certainly a handful, isn't it? My goodness.
It's a big gun.
It's a very nice gun.
Okay, so here we go. We're gonna go do the thing.
As y'all start heading off, and wow, what a crew we have. So you head down and back to this alleyway, which Dallas, after what you saw there, you kind of look around, but it looks normal. It doesn't. It seems so mundanely straight, so just normal after what you saw that it's almost jarring. But you lead them back to the back and push the board aside, and we could see to the other alley. John, what do you do once Dallas points out the blood on the wall?
I think he kind of mutters to himself, and kind of he's trying not to act as excited as he is. It's like it's all real. But as he kind of shows the blood on the wall, I'm going to
And keep in mind, everyone has in this the ability to do magics of various sorts, and you can frame that in any way you want. I'm not saying you should, I'm not saying do that, but just to give everybody a reminder that that's something that's open to everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? He's going to. He might spend one of his hold from his from his haven, and say that he's got some stuff in the back of his car, and there's kind of the blood streak going in a general direction, and I think he's got maybe an actual dowsing rod in his van that he's going to use, and he'll take it and he'll kind of scrape up a little bit of the blood and put it on and put it on the point of the dowsing rod, and it starts to kind of smoke and sputter, and he kind of looks at everyone and just says, "Follow me. This will show us where they went."
All right, I think I will have you then do a use magic. You're pulling this item out, so I'm going to give you a +1 forward because you have the appropriate instrument.
Sure.
So you'll be rolling weird, and we'll see how that goes as far as glitches and such like.
So that's a 9.
Now anyone could perhaps help with that, and you do have luck. I'm not saying I don't know if I'd use one of my 2 luck at this point, but does anyone feel like they could help with this?
I might. I think I would see that as you're holding this dowsing rod. I think this is kind of, an hour ago I would have said this was really ridiculous, but your hand is shaking a little bit, and I just move my hand over and I just touch your hand to calm your hand down, to calm your tremor.
Excellent. Roll me a cool to help out.
Yeah. I don't have a die roll. Where's our seal? Our delightful seal. Where are they at?
It's up a bit, and I can post it again real quick.
Okay. Thank you. It's the first time I've rolled dice. So. Oh, that doesn't work. That keeps sending us away. I'll just get another one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Chris's does. Mine doesn't. I'm sorry. I'm the screwed up there.
No, I got it. It's fine. I got a 10 plus. What's help with? Cool.
Helps with yes.
Okay, cool.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I got 11. So,
so John, as Diego touches you, what goes through your mind? What about the touch calms you and helps you focus?
There's at first it's a little bit startling because he's not expecting being touched, but then there's the kind of like kind of the slow comfort of your lover's hand as as he sort of like caresses his hand in a familiar way,
and it steals you.
Yeah.
So with a 10, you manage to make your magic work perfectly, and as you move, the rods cross in a direction, and you stride out. I'm guessing everyone following along behind. Dallas, does seeing this guy do this, do you comment on it to Void or to Diego? No? Okay.
Yeah, I think Void will say something.
What?
You still got it, JR.
Well, let's hope so.
You begin following, and it takes you out of this alley and across the street. It's now 6:30, and it's fully dark. The lights are on, though, and this is a very suburban neighborhood. So the streets are well lit. The houses were built in the 40s. This has, a lot of these houses in this neighborhood are people who came back from the war and had, got those loans and had their money. And so they have a similar look, but they're all, that kind of front porch, two sets, nice little yard out front. And as you move through, you can hear inside the houses TVs going on. There are a few kids that you could see finishing up playing and being called in for their dinner. And it's, considering your task and what you've seen, it's jarring to have this normal going on. And you continue down through the neighborhood, reach across street. The dowsing rod is directing you further in. And as you go about 2 blocks in, you come to a house that is perfectly normal like all the rest of these, except that there's only one light on, and it's upstairs. Most people are, it's 7, so most people are up and active. There's only the one light on here, and it's quite dim. And you can see that where the mailbox is at the front door, there's a lot of mail stuck in it. It kind of is overflowed, and you see where the mailman has now kind of stuffed some between the door and the screen door. But this is where the dowsing rods have brought you.
Is all the unsent mail, like, is it all addressed to Frank Tillerson?
No. If you go up and take a look, it's to Roger Edgars, our resident, our Edgars and family.
That's not an anagram, is it, of Frank Tillerson?
No. So, we're here. What are we? What's the plan now?
Well, there's a light on upstairs. We could knock on the door. I don't know what we would say. We could try to sneak in through the back.
Okay.
Stake it out. See if they come out.
Do that. I'll just go knock on the door. How about that?
Hey, and I'll put my hand on your shoulder.
I was mostly joking when I said that.
No, it's totally fine. Look, it's totally fine.
No.
You're all armed for bear, and
let's just take a look for a minute, okay?
Yeah. Sit on the curb, Normie, and let me cast my invocation of sensing a disturbance in the static.
And John puts his hand on Diego's shoulders and just says, he looks and sounds strange, but he does know what he's talking about.
So I actually have a move called "What Could Go Wrong," and it's I don't know if it's totally applicable because it says whenever you charge into immediate danger without hedging your bets, hold 2, and you spend the hold to do things. But so I don't know, like if I don't know if this counts as immediate danger. It's not that. I was thinking the one mundane move is more like I guess you just kind of go alone without a plan. But
well, look, Jason, I'd be totally. I think it'd be really cool for the story if, like, you just shrug off like the hand of void and just like charge straight up and bang.
I am definitely just knocking on the door. Okay.
Okay. And I will say that move does trigger as you do so.
If you will please just, if you could all just lower your firearms while I'm talking to the person at the front, that might give me a moment to figure out what the hell's going on here. Okay, great. And I go and I just like, ding dong.
No one answer, a few moments pass. Upstairs, the light turns out. And you can, through the door, hear a bit of movement. But no one comes to the door.
Is it like an older door that maybe has a keyhole I can look into or something? Or
yeah.
Or like a little window or something I can like,
Yeah. Well, it does actually have up at the top, the little 3 arced window.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so you kind of look up.
Can I do that?
Yeah. As you look in, why don't we have you roll a
investigate?
Read a bad sitch.
Oh, okay, good.
And so that'll be off of sharp.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm going to the proper room here. I was in my own room for a minute. Doke. I got an 11 on the dice, so
ooh, fantastic.
Sharp, right? Yeah, I got 11.
Yep. All right, so you get to hold 3, so you can you have 3 questions there.
All right, I got this under control. Are there any? What's the biggest threat?
As you are looking in, and the house is dark, but the street lights are kind of coming through the windows, but it's it's dim inside there. But you can see at the back of the house where a shadow kind of passes across the wall, and you hear like a door closing back there. Someone is purposely avoiding coming to this door.
What's my best way in? Meaning like either through the front, through the back, like that kind of thing.
Well, you've kind of, to lean up, you've actually kind of put your hand on the handle, and
it pops up.
It turns.
Okay. Convenient. And what are there any dangers that we haven't noticed?
You see, where looking in here, off to the right is probably where its living room is. You see the set of stairs that's there, going down the opposite direction, but you can see up there and off to the side. But from that, now that you're looking, from the arch leading into the living room, you see some dark puddle that has seemed to have run out from underneath that arch and pooled up there in the hallway.
So there's an arch, you said?
Yeah, kind of like if you open the door, it's a hallway. One side's the stairway going up, and the other side's like a little arch that goes into the living room.
Oh, got it. Okay, that was like some kind of like portal or gate or something.
No. It's just like there's no door to the living room.
Okay, got it. It's just a little bit, yeah.
So can I ask, like, what's the puddle like? Is it like a kind of a burst water main, or is it like a fucking
Is it
Like
black ooze?
Is it moving like it like
It's not moving.
liquid
No, no,
shouldn't
no.
move?
But it's
Okay,
definitely this black, and it kind of shines like it's. Honestly, you've spilled paint before, and when it gets old and tacky, it gets that sort of sheen to it. It looks like that, but it's a dark liquid.
And I turn to the others and I say, well, there's definitely someone in here. The door's open, so I mean, maybe somebody with a firearm goes and finds out what's going on.
Dallas, as this door opens, what are you doing?
I think she has her shotgun up, and she's kind of like walking around the side of the house to walk up to the door with the kid.
All right. As the door swings open, you have much more experience in this than Diego does. That is definitely a pool of blood that has run out of that living room. But the house is completely quiet, except for the ceiling fan that's on in the living room, and you can hear the chain tap, 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 where it's slightly off kilter, that ceiling fan.
I'm gonna walk in.
You walk in.
Try not to step in the blood.
As you come up to where the arch is and to where the blood pool is, you look over, and you can see where it has come out and pooled, and you would guess it's probably been there for days, if not a week or more. And laying there on a carpet, you see, you guess, a man or a woman, but their skin is completely gone. Their muscles have contracted in, and it's like this, gnawed up, and just raw muscle and bone lying there, and the smell hits you. It's cold enough, at least the flies haven't gotten to it.
Great.
Are they dead, or is it just like...
It's dead. Just, yeah. John, what are you doing? You've seen Dallas go in, and Diego's holding the door open. What are you doing?
So it sounds so did I hear any of the other things of the it sounded like someone was moving towards the back of the house.
You certainly saw that light turn off upstairs. I think Diego heard more of the noise inside.
Gotcha. I think that that Dallas has gone through the front door. I think John is going to go around through the back door and see if he can see anything.
Okay.
I think that he's going to approach cautiously with his gun with his gun out, try the door, but yeah, he's not going to knock. He's going to try to open the door.
You reach down and it is locked, but it's got a big window to it. It could very easily be broken into. What are you doing, Foy?
This house, does it have like a one of those stone like bird baths in the front garden?
It does.
So I'm gonna go over to this bird bath. I'm gonna grab the bowl of the bird bath by both hands. I'm gonna vomit up like all of that fucking owl's beef sandwich that I ate right into the bowl. And this is me casting a spell.
I hoped so.
Yeah.
What are you trying to do?
I am barring every portal within this house from ingress by demonic spirits unless they are invited in.
All right. Let's roll weird and see how that goes.
Yeah, let's do that. I will roll my real dice. 7 + 9, that's a 10.
Excellent. What does it look like? Is there a visual something that shows? Is there a glow, or does it have no immediate something someone would know?
Yeah, no, it's like I hope everyone's okay with this kind of gross kind of thing, but yeah, like I said, I vomit into this bird bath, and there's this pool of this regurgitated like fucking beef sandwich, and I dip my fingers in it whilst kind of like doing this chanting, and I pull my fingers out, and it's like the the gunk like sticks to my fingers, and I draw this like 3-dimensional replica of the house, and then and just put all these like gates down like over all the doors, and then just like stumble back like onto the grass, like, and that's it.
As I imagine, what had been hovering there sort of collapses back to the bowl,
splashes back into the bird bath. Yeah, but yeah, no demonic spirits can pass through a portal unless they have permission. No.
All right. So inside the house we have Dallas and Diego, and outside we have vomit magic going on. At the back we've got you there, John, who's just tried to lock the door. Dallas, Diego, what are you two doing? You have this body.
I think I might just be looking at the body now, and I'm like, oh, and in a bit of an echo of the previous scene, I vomit, and wasn't magical though, and and I compose myself and I say, what is that, Dallas? What am I looking at?
Dead person.
That looks like raw beef.
That's what raw beef looks like.
Right. But dead. Where's the skin?
Off.
Okay. Well, I think we gotta call the cops. I mean,
yeah, we'll get to it. We'll make sure the house is safe first.
Okay. I mean, I can call them right now. I've got a cell phone.
No, just wait.
Cell phone.
Just wait.
2018. Okay.
Check the kitchen.
As you head back into the kitchen, you could see John outside the door, trying to handle. Unless, John, you've decided to break in.
Well, if he's in the kitchen, he would probably see me just with like his suit jacket wrapped around his hand, just as he's about to punch in the window. But if he sees Diego come in, he will, say, open the lock. He'll say through the window, open the door.
Well, I don't know. Diego may not have quite, but I know Dallas has gotten in there.
She'll open the door.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Sorry, there was somebody upstairs, and I was worried that they'd try to sneak out the back, and apparently not. So is
somebody upstairs?
Well, there was the light on upstairs that turned off after we rang the doorbell.
Right. She's gonna wait until John's inside, and then kind of nod toward the stairs and be like, "Let's go."
Hold on a second. When I was looking I saw him come downstairs. Like, they're down here, whoever it is. Unless it's this guy.
All right, then we go room by room.
Oh boy. All right. I pull out the hand cannon.
Don't shoot us.
I will.
This is how you turn the safety off.
I'm not gonna. Oh boy, this is like in a movie. All right. Here's the part where you show me how to turn the safety off, and here's the part where I accidentally pull the trigger and everyone jumps.
No, we're good.
Okay.
Breathe.
As you start looking around, you see there is a door that's off of the pantry that's here at this kitchen, and it's slightly ajar. And as you are looking over there, you can hear through the door this sound of metal on stone. Kind of a scraping noise.
I've got a feeling they're not sharpening knives in there.
Okay.
So what are we gonna do?
Open it.
Do you think it's Frank?
I don't fucking know.
Well, this is your gig, Dallas. This is your thing.
I go open the door with my gun up.
With your shotgun, as you open it, a set of stairs leads down into a basement.
Oh, that's promising.
It's the worst.
It's very dark, but even compared to up here, but there is some tiny bit of light that's coming through some windows that, those little slat windows down there. But as you open the door, you hear that scraping stop and a sort of clang, something heavy hitting a stone floor.
Does scraping remind me of that, like, weapon? The one...
Seems heavier than that.
All right. Is there a light switch?
No, but you can see about halfway down, there's one of those light bulb strings.
Great. Anyone bring a flashlight?
Yeah.
Multi-tool.
Yeah, I actually brought a watchman's flashlight.
And I would guess you followed in after casting your spell, and as they've been searching.
Like I puke in that bird bowl. I do my vomit magic thing, and then I just fucking I stride straight in through the front door, like no fear. I literally push everyone aside, pull out this fucking big fucking combat knife, like from my inside my thing. I'm like, I'll go first.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shining your light down.
And I'll just turn to Dallas and say, hey, just fucking send me a card on my next birthday, all right?
As you start stomping down the stairs, doesn't sound like you're trying to be particularly quiet.
No, not at all. I'm not scared of this.
You move down, shining your light around. Dallas, are you following?
Yeah, but like quieter.
As you pass, do you turn on the light bulb?
No.
Okay. And
I do.
Okay.
Fuck the mundane.
As you turn it on, it sort of swings.
Otherwise, how do we see?
It sort of swings, so we have that shadows passing back and forth. It provides, your flashlight as you've been shining around, Void, it just right where it was. And you had shown it down as you'd gotten towards the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah.
Back across where you weren't able to see down the stairs, off to the right. And you see, as your light flashes across, there is this, probably where they would have had an old well or a sump pump type of thing that had a metal lid to it. And you see it's been pulled back. And, your light is sort of shining on it as you see a pair of shoes on the other side of it. You start bringing up your flashlight. Pair of black trousers that are covered with some sort of viscous, slimy, bloody mess. Up past the waist to a white shirt that's stuck tight with red sliminess holding it tight to the body. Bleeding through is this redness. Mm-hmm. But before you can bring it up to the face, the light comes on, and in that swinging, you see a face. But it's devoid of much of its skin, mostly only the musculature. Gaping nose. There's something in those eyes you recognize.
Yeah.
They've haunted your dreams.
Yeah. And I would like click off the flashlight and put it away in my pocket, go. Nice to see you again, Francis.
Your mother was the best of the bunch. She screamed and screamed.
Fuck that. That does. I pull my fucking knife out and I charge at that fucker.
All right, let's go to a kick some ass.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, roll a tough.
I rolled a 5.
All right. As you come charging in and the rage overwhelming you, you strike down towards him, and this thing sort of smiles at you. Not yet, Vinny. Not yet. And he sort of steps forward so that he's over the hole. But as he drops, he reaches up and grabs you by the lapels and brings you straight down as he falls, smashing your face into the other side of the hole and catching himself with you as he can, lets go of you to drop down. You hear a bit of a splash, and you take 3 points of damage.
Fuck yeah! I mean, it puts my jaw like how it knocks out a few fucking teeth, and I've got like blood like pissing out of my fucking face.
I'm gonna hear more screams, Vinny. Lot more screams. It's Dallas, you've come down there and you catch just that glimpse of this figure do this, and you see and yeah, I imagine, Diego, you've probably gotten around the edge of that corner too, so you probably saw this thing as well as it dropped down and through. Dallas, what are you doing?
I'm going to run over to, I just called him Void, Vincent, and like help him up and kind of like shove some cloth in his face.
Yeah, he is bleeding. And
Jesus.
from down that hole, you can hear the sound of footsteps running. And we're going to take our second break here, I believe. So let's take 5 minutes, come back at 20 till, and we'll move into the next part of this little adventure. See y'all shortly.
We're not finished, are we? Oh my god, it's gonna worse.
All right. Well, you've seen Frank for the first time. He's charming. Okay, we'll let Jason get back and we'll decide what we're gonna do. And John, you've probably up there on the stairs. You didn't get a chance to see this, but you certainly heard the commotion.
Yeah, and I would have when I heard the commotion, I would have run down and saw Void laying on the ground and and Dallas guns drawn, and saw the afterward scene.
Void, you are hurt.
Yeah.
You don't have to answer, it's you.
The entire kind of right side of my jaw has been caved in on the side of this well. I can barely there's blood picking on my face, my jaw's broken. I'm in pain.
You probably could use some medical attention.
Yeah.
And Dallas, as you're kind of staunching this wound on him, with these, how are you holding it together? You're like really tough, and this is something you almost had always sort of. I mean, you've worked towards it so long, but to actually see him, what are you feeling?
I think she's scared. But I think focusing on her brother gives her something to pay attention to, instead of trying to freak out and be like, oh shit, oh fuck. She's just let me see your fucking face.
Yeah, this reminds Void of a long time ago, when he was as a kid. It's one of his first memories, maybe. When he climbed all the way to the top of the tree, in our backyard. Do you remember, Dallas? Our mum, she always told us not to climb that tree.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did it. I went right up to the top, and you were screaming. You were telling me calm down, calm down. I didn't listen to you because I never listened to you, and because I thought you shouldn't tell me what to do. And yeah, and I fell from the top branch. And I hit the ground, and it knocked two of my front teeth out. There's blood pissing from my face, and yeah, and you fixed me up.
And now, sitting there all these years later, you're holding him and bleeding. Diego, you just saw this crazy shit. What are you doing?
I think, actually, give me one moment.
Okay.
I have a move called the Power of Heart, so I'm going to use that as some role-playing goal posting here and say, okay, I think we got to take this thing out. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on, but I'll tell you what. I find myself in Feast trying to figure out what happens to people, right? Why do good people have to be in situations like this? Why do men and women have to deal with violence and drug addiction and abuse and murder and rape and all the terrible things that happen? And I think that maybe that there are not big, huge systemic problems to be solved after all. Maybe there's just fucking demons that just, maybe you got to just like pull out the bad shit from the root, right? I mean, I don't know, but I'm fucking angry. I'm pissed, and I want to take this thing out.
All right. John, you've probably never heard Diego quite like this.
Yeah, and I come over and give him a hug, and just whisper, it's like, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
No, I don't need to be comforted right now.
Okay.
I feel like I've got a handle of this situation.
Also, don't lie to him. It's not going to be okay.
All right. Well, so I was not here, and so he kind of sees, Void is bleeding. So Diego, what exactly, explain to me exactly what happened. Exactly what did you see? What happened?
There's some kind of meat man with no skin up here. We think it's Frank. He seemed to know who Vincent was. Vincent, are we calling him Vincent or Void? I haven't really quite figured that out. And yeah, and then he like jumped down the well. So yeah.
All right. Well, maybe we get Void patched up. I've got some books in my car. Maybe I can look into that, see if there's anything useful in there.
Dallas, he's talking about going to the car and looking at books. What are you thinking?
No, we're going now. Down a hole.
Okay, we're going down a hole to something that that is we're going down. We are following a thing down a hole. Like, yep. Do you know what that thing? Do you know exactly what that thing is? Do you know exactly how to how to fight it?
His name is Frank.
Okay, so his name is Frank. Well, whatever he is now, like you and I, we both have guns. Is that going to work on him? I think we need a specific plan to.
Oh, like maybe you need like silver bullets or something, right? Like, or holy water. That's holy water, right?
Can I add like a little bit of kind of atmospheric flavor? Like, yeah, at this moment, like from upstairs, like kind of in the lounge, we hear like the TV like kind of click on, and it's playing like the theme tune to whatever was like the most popular TV show in 1984 when Frank was executed. I don't know, maybe it's like fucking Dallas or Hill Street Blues or something. It's like
oh, Hill Street Blues. That
yeah,
I like that, and you can feel something pressing on those barriers. Something wants in. Void.
On those barriers that I've put up.
Yes.
Well, it needs to ask for fucking permission, and if it wants permission, it has to ask me. So say it, demon. Ask permission from me. Ask permission from the void.
As you say this, upstairs you hear the radio come on. The TV's channel is flipping around. Words sort of pop from radio and TV. We will not be stopped. None can escape me.
And I kind of like shrug off like Dallas and like stagger to my feet really weakly and just say in that, that voice, that really high, like 3 octaves too high kind of voice you heard like back in the the beast shop. I say, you do not have permission, and I just drop down to the floor again.
You're seeing this, those of you downstairs. You're hearing this noise as Void sort of drops. And you can see there's a struggle going on. As Void, the pressure on this is so much greater than you probably ever felt.
Yeah, like 10 times more than anything I've ever meddled with before, yeah.
The light bulb at the top of the stairs begins blinking. What do you do, John?
All right, well, something has to happen now. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spend one from my man with the plan, and I'm going to attempt to I'm going to attempt to drive away these beings pushing on Void's barrier.
All right,
these hell nuns. I think
right.
that he pulls out. He's got actually the. Actually, I think he's got the other when Void gave the salt shaker to Dallas. I think John pocketed a couple of the others. It's a communal table. There's a bunch of them, and so I think he just pocketed all of the others, and he just goes around and mumbles some words and puts a line of salt across basically across all of the doors. And just starts mumbling some words and just says, "Be gone." It's like, "I banish you."
Okay, it's
beings from the outer realms,
and the cacophony of it is getting louder, so that now it's almost just a screech coming from radio and from television, and this light flashing. And as you complete the circle, it stops dead quiet. The light goes out, but John, you see, like a vision, just flashes, that stone-faced nun, the one with the horns, and then the Mother Superior just flashing in front of you. "Ah, prisoner, we must have him back. He will destroy your world. He cannot stay here. He will kill like a wolf in the flock." But you feel them withdrawing as you've completed this. "Bring him to us."
All right. Well,
John, how do you react to that? Do you tell what you saw? Do you... And go ahead, kind of blurt out what you're saying, and then I'm going to hit over to you, Dallas, as all this shit's going on. I want to hear what you were doing.
Yeah, John just kind of involuntarily, he's not Catholic anymore, but he grew up Catholic. He kind of involuntarily crosses himself, and and I think in the moment he's first going to go check on Void.
Okay, Dallas. While this is going on, what have you done?
Earlier when we were walking down, it sounded like metal fell on the floor, like a weapon of some kind. What's on the floor? It
was where he had drugged this thing over. But if you'd like, we could have you do a read a bad sitch. I think is probably going to give us our best answers. As you're looking around this place here.
7.
So you're going to get 1.
What's the best way to protect the victims?
As you're looking around, you can see where there's kind of a pallet that's been set up, and you can see from like where there's blood on the sheets. This is probably where Frank laid. Next to it, you can see there are like old porn mags and like, you know, the little paperback dirty books, you know, and you could see where he's put up pictures from like the barely legal magazines and stuff, and where he stroked those bloody fingers across the pictures. But also sitting there, there is a picture of a rather attractive woman and Frank. It's in black and white. Frank is in his prison uniform. And he's smiling, and she's smiling. And she is very pregnant.
I'm sorry. This is not my question.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'll back up.
But yes, there's this photograph that he has beside this pallet. And, you know, it's obvious was, you know, 30-something years ago when he was still in prison.
I'm going to pull the picture down and hand it to Diego because, you know what? That kid has a beat on Street Kids.
I will take a look at it. Do I recognize anybody?
Heck, I think that this picture's older than you are.
Oh, gosh.
But you do notice something on this woman's, as she's standing there beside Frank. You see, you know, again, pregnant, smiling. But you can see that she has a little pin on her, like, sweater she's wearing. And it's one of the pins that a church will give out for attendance. You know, you're here every Sunday for so many years. And you could definitely see St. Evelyn's written on the inscription around it.
So this is maybe a little out of character, but like, so he basically he has a child, is what we're to deduce from this? Okay. Oh, I think I know what's going on. So I think I'll turn to Dallas and I'll say, one of the young women who is sometimes at feast, and I met at St. Evelyn's tonight, she said she was looking for her girlfriend, a girl named Becca, that she went to a bar and hooked up with some other woman, and then she went missing. And I don't know, like that's been bugging me all night. Like, what? I don't know. It's been bugging me all night. Like, maybe Becca just ran off with this girl, but maybe I don't know, maybe there's more to the story. Did Frank have any kids or anything?
Looks like.
I mean, you're the world's foremost Frank.
Did you keep up while Frank was in jail? Those, you know, it was about 5 years that he was in jail. Did you go back and have you researched like all of his trial and his many appeals?
I don't think she did at that age because they were like 12.
You'd have been pretty young, yeah.
But did you afterward? You know,
I think as an adult, she definitely ended up becoming friends with one of those like people who write serial killers in prison and like obsessively follow their cases, and just went through all of their shit.
All right, then I think that as you see this woman, you kind of recognize her, and you think back, you know, this is somebody you talked to 10, 12 years ago who had been fascinated with Frank, knew everything about him, talked about how he had changed when he was in prison, and I would have been able to save him. My love would have saved him, but he loved somebody else. That fucking Rona Pierce. I don't know what he saw in her. I heard that.
Oh my God, is it Eunice?
No. But I heard they even convinced a priest to get him married while he was in prison so she could come for visits. Nobody talks about it.
Father fucking Lahane.
Do you know Rona Pierce? Anybody?
Would I know a Rona Pierce from my work?
Apparently, they were married.
I'm going to say yes, simply because Rona is an older woman now. You know, she's in her, she was older than Frank when Frank decided she should come and start helping him. And so she's about 70 now. And you know her because she gets Meals on Wheels.
So I think I know who, what's that term for like women who visit men in prison? Like, isn't there a term for that? Like, I don't know, but but I think I know who Frank's fangirl was, and I think I know where she's at. And I feel like I don't know. I'm not really great at like connecting the dots on this kind of thing. I mean, like I've seen a whole lot of Murder, She Wrote, but I don't know if that really qualifies me to make any deductions here. I think there's something going on with Rhoda and this kid that Frank may have had, and my friend's missing girlfriend. I don't know. It all feels connected. Also, hell nuns,
Yeah. Well, all right. So do we want to jump down the hole?
Yeah, John, they've been talking about this as you're pulling yourself together. And I think probably you too, Void, you've been sort of overwhelmed, but the pressure just let off when the lights went down. John, what do you say?
I'll, as Void has kind of recovered, John will relay what he saw to Dallas and Diego. Just say I think there's something else. I think there's someone else after Frank too.
Everybody wants a piece of Frank tonight.
So, Dallas, are you sort of making the decision, or Void? Is there something you're saying after this?
Well, either we go down the hole or we go try and find this kid and try to bring Frank to us.
That seems like a good plan.
We go after Frank.
Really?
Down the hole.
I'll bring the child to us.
Huh?
I said I'll bring the
you.
child to us.
How?
Yeah.
It's best if you don't see this. And I step off like into a corner of the room.
Yeah. Okay. I turn away from Void to Dallas. I say I prefer the option where we I've thought about it. I've thought on it. I feel like my moment of outraged courage has passed, and I prefer the option where we don't jump down the well to possibly a sort of dark nether realm where Frank is apparently rebuilding his body or something. I don't know. I go for the I say we lure him. Let's lure him.
Yeah, and I still think we need to know exactly what we're dealing with here, just because. Well, how do we lure that nuns to him? But what happens when they find him? Do they just drag him back off to hell, or are they going to do something else with him?
It's kind of none of our business, right? I mean,
well, if he's killing people, then it kind of is.
Oh no, I mean, once the nuns get him, who cares? I mean,
as long as they kill him.
Yeah, unless he's not their newest member, maybe. I don't know.
What if? And I'm just going to throw this out here. What if I don't know. What if we do something to piss off the nuns in the meantime, and they start coming after us? You know,
Let's just not do that.
I mean, is there anything we could possibly do that might cause them to be unhappy with us, apart from, you know, apparently creating some kind of barrier that prevents them from coming in right when they are closing in on their prey? Anything else you all can think of?
I mean, I think, as you said, I think we've already done it as much as we can.
Be polite.
What are you getting up to in the corner, Void?
I've kind of got up and I pulled this this picture off the wall, the picture of Frank and the woman, the pregnant woman, and I've gone over into the corner. And I take this, and I imagine it's like quite a kind of like faded, like old, like fucking Polaroid or something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I screw it up into a little ball, and I open my mouth, and I fucking swallow it, and I choke on it a bit as it goes down. And I sit there for like a couple of minutes. I'm like coughing. And then I pull out my knife. Turn away. Don't watch. I don't want to like push the knife like into the point like just below my throat and kind of slide it all the way down. And I want to summon the spirit of Frank's child into the room.
Will that work if they're alive?
Let's see.
All right. Why don't we roll that magic then?
Okay, so I roll. It's a 7. That's a 9 I rolled.
All right. The 9, we're going to have a glitch here. Sounds like your effect is you're trying to bring her to you, or summon her to you.
Summon a monster into the world.
And what glitch do you see on there that calls to you?
It draws immediate unwelcome attention.
All right. You're casting out, and you can sense your will going out there, trying to draw her in, and you can feel that, you know, this is a living person. You can feel that they are relatively close, like within, you know, miles, 10 miles at most. You can feel that. You can feel that they are out there. And as you're reaching to pull her to you, and you can now see this face, her dark hair, she's pretty. She looks at you, and her eyes widen as she you could sense her being pulled. And her hand reaches down. And it's like you watch as it reaches down to this brass and onyx ball. As she touches it, she turns it slightly, and a spike from either side. And your mind is filled with the sounds of chains rattling and screams as the connection is broken. But you're pretty sure you know where that house is. I'll come back to you to tell folks of this, and we're hitting that point where I'm going to have to start doing a little hard framing to get us to place. So So I'll probably have you kind of just hit highlights. We'll say, oh, we get this information. But the other three of you, it sounds like you're preparing to leave.
Yeah. And
so it's, after this horribleness of him sitting there, you're packing up, and maybe Dallas kind of, come on, let's go to him, as Void looks up. And I'm guessing, is it fair to say that you tell them what you saw?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got like this like horrific kind of like cut that I've sort of cut like down my chest here, and it's not looking good. There's blood pooling out over my shirt. She's close. The offspring of the demon we chase. She's close. I can lead us to her. She'll draw him in.
All right.
Let's do it.
You head up out of this house, passing by the body, and getting back to the van. You, Diego, know that it's only a few blocks over to Rona's. If there was still an interest to speak to her, but this house that we're talking about, and kind of in a daze, you're able to say where it is, and it's out of the neighborhood, right on the border at the neighborhood, but it's a much more rundown part of town. It's where this nice suburban neighborhood abuts something that hasn't developed up much since the downfall in the 80s, sort of thing. So as John, you crank up the van, where are we going? Yeah.
Well, while I'm assuming Void is going to be navigating, I'm actually going to ask Diego to drive, because I think while we're on our way over there, I want to spend a point from my Haven to hit the books, which gives me a +1 to investigate a mystery.
Excellent. Let's roll that up.
All right. Let's see. This was sharp.
I put on some Matchbox 20 Nickelback.
Okay. Well, we're coming to the end. What does luck do again?
Luck will give you an automatic 12.
I'll go ahead and spend a point of luck because I rolled snake eyes.
Oh, a good time for it. A good time for it. All right, so you get 3 off of there. I'm sorry, 2 off of there.
2. Okay, so what sort of creature is it?
You're looking through your books and you pull down one, and from the description you heard of that sphere, it rings to you. Leafing through this book, you see for someone, it's a photograph of the actual drawing of this thing. It is called the Sanguinavin. It's a puzzle box sphere. It was said that it could open a gateway to hell for those who had true love. And as you're reading through it, it tells a story of someone who used this box to reach into hell, bring back this person they had loved. But to do it, they had to sacrifice their lover's brother, for only the blood of the one you seek will call them back through the gate. As you leaf over the picture to the next page, those that the gate opens to the torture room of hell, where those who deserve the worst of punishments are held. And the altar sacerdotes the nuns of torment punish these sinners for all eternity. And you see these engravings of the three nuns. But Frank is dead. Killing Frank, how do you kill a dead person?
Right.
Second question.
Second question. Well, I'll just ask the question that you just asked there. How can I hurt it? What can hurt it?
It can be hurt in the sense that you can destroy its form. Once it's back, it will reform. Blood will come to it eventually, and it will rise again. Because that's what it wants. It feeds. It steals life to make itself more alive. And it will feed forever, growing stronger and stronger. You can only send it back.
All right. Well, and as you know, and as we drive on, it's there's probably music play, two Linkin Park or Matchbox 20 or whatever Diego is playing. He is reading. John is reading all this aloud to everyone, and describes the pictures of the nuns and all of that.
All right. And Diego, you're driving. Are you heading straight, following the instructions to this child? The not a child, obviously she anymore, but right. Frank's child, or
yeah. I mean, I was thinking about maybe stopping by Rona's, but no, I think we're just gonna go straight to the child. I feel like we've got a good handle on this. We got to just lure Frank out, and then let the Ultor Sacerdotes do their job. So,
all right. So you drive, reaching this address, and as you pull up, it's an old 2-story house. One of those, kind of stone houses, got the big stone pillar for the front porch, 2-story. It's seen better days in this neighborhood as you drive up, and it's already 8:30 now. But there's nobody on the streets. Looks like the street lights, a lot of them have been shot out. And as you're driving up in the van, the few people you see kind of do that thing of like stepping around a corner. You Diego, recognize these are people who are selling drugs, or buying drugs, or shooting up, or they don't want to be noticed. As you reach this house, and Void, this is it. This is, it's it.
Yeah, we're here. This is where we'll find the bait. And remember that it may be flesh and blood, but it's the bait that we need.
Dallas, what are you doing?
Walking up to the house.
As you head up, you can see there is a light on, and the TV, you can see the flash of the TV. When you reach the door, what do you do?
I knock.
You hear movement, and then the distinctive sound of someone cocking a gun.
I'm going to step to the side.
The door opens, just a chain there, and you see a girl that you recognize. She's the girl that Shelly. I'm sorry. That would be Diego that would have seen that. I'm so sorry. But Diego, you're up there, I'm guessing?
Yeah, sure. I'll go up. Yeah, I'll be right behind. I'm always behind. Vengeful old woman with shotgun. So.
You see
That's
her
the best place to be.
in the as the door cracks open. This is that woman that met with Becca.
Oh, I've seen her. Yeah.
She looks at you, Dallas. What do you want? She's a pretty woman in her mid-30s.
Yeah, she's a bit young.
I look directly at her and I say, "You're luring them. You're luring them to him, aren't you?"
I don't know what you're talking about, Slam.
I'm gonna kick the door open.
That's it. Let's do an act under pressure.
Is that with cool?
That's the cool.
I fail.
You put the boot into that door and it flies open, and she shoots you.
No.
Oh no! Goodbye, luck.
It's gonna do 2 points of damage as she shoots you with this revolver she has. Do you have any armor, or would you like to use luck? Okay.
1 armor.
So it hits into your vest, and she's stay back. I'm going to go to Diego. You're right behind her.
I'm right behind.
Woman,
I am.
This woman just shot her. What do you do?
I know. I'm probably fumbling for the hand cannon, and I've got it, and I'm like, I pull it out. I'm like, all right, quick. She's not just like firing at will, right? She's kind of like trying to tell us to stay back, right?
She shot her in the chest, and you got a feeling that she will shoot again if y'all don't run away.
I put a pull at the hand cannon, and I'm gonna try to shoot her in the leg.
All right, let's do that as a. I guess that's going to be a kick some ass.
Okay.
It's 3 harm.
Ooh, that's right. So that's tough.
I got this. Oh, I rolled snake eyes. I don't got this.
Use some luck.
I'm gonna use the luck. And my lucky break is that I pull out the gun, and I think I pull out the gun, and I'm not even like aiming it. I'm just like, I pull it out, and I'm freaking out. I pull it out, and I'm just like I'm waving it around wildly, like really unsafely, like I'm freaking out, don't know what to do, and I accidentally pull the trigger, and it just accidentally hits her in the leg. So
fantastic. So bam, and it fires. I mean,
I'm like, oh shit! It like, oh my god, I think I shot her. Oh my god!
It hits her right in the knee, and her knee buckles, and she collapses down, and you hear she goes, "Daddy, Daddy." What are you doing, John?
That wasn't me calling John, just FYI.
I actually just kind of rush into pull out my gun, rush past everyone, and just take a look at the room inside.
All right, I'm going to have you do an act under pressure just because this is, there's a lot going on at the moment for you to scan quickly. So let's roll cool.
All right. Four.
Ooh. All right. As you're looking around, back behind her in the hallway, you see some movement and you hear something knock over. Sounds like a plate that crashes down back in the back. You head off that way after it?
I'm gonna think I'm gonna wait here with everyone else and see what comes running.
All right, Dallas. I'm going to get to you just a second, Void. But Dallas, you've heard this noise too back there. Are you? Do you stay with her, or are you chasing after it?
No, I'm actually gonna like step over and grab the gun that she had from and make sure she doesn't have the ability to shoot anyone again. So that's kind of my priority.
All right. You move down there, and she's in pain, but she's still got that gun. So I think you're gonna have to like disarm her. So let's have you do a. I hate to pull back several of the same move in a row, but let's do an act under pressure here.
All right.
It's the most frequently rolled move in this game. So.
Yeah.
10.
Oh, excellent. You've got no problem disarming her. And she's like, he told me you would come. Daddy, where are you, Daddy? And you see she's crying from the pain. Boyd, I would like for you, and I'm just going to have you, it's read a bad sitch is what I'm going to have you roll here. But it's mainly going to be kind of a pass-fail with a, not going to be the questions as much as your ability to react.
Yeah. Well, I roll a 6.
Oh, that's perfect. Because you're paying attention to this, all this gunfire, as you feel a knife poke you. You're still outside, as someone...
I'm waiting by the car,
Okay. Oh, excellent then. You feel as this knife comes and presses up against right to your kidney, and you feel this wet hand kind of wrapped around your neck. Frank goes, I was done with her anyway. And he starts to squeeze your throat. And as he does, you can feel like your skin stretching and being pulled back towards his hand. Take 1 damage, but you're going to have to try and get away from this. So, it's good. He's going to continue choking at you if you don't. What would you like to do?
I will like violently kind of like bend forward so he kind of like comes with me, send my boot up like between his legs, kick him in the fucking balls, and then out comes my wire garrote from inside, and I throw it up behind me and loop it behind his fucking neck.
All right, well that sounds like kick some ass, so let's see how that goes.
That's a tough. A 7.
All right. You manage that, let's see, with your 7, Victorian shoulder, yeah. So, you do that kickback, and there's a real squelching noise as your boot connects with his nethers. And and as you whip back that garrote, it catches him, but it catches him right at the eyebrow. And as you pull, it slices back so that from the eyebrow up and across, it scalps the top of his head off. But he, in his scream, leans in and bites you right in the back of the neck, just sinks his teeth in and begins gnawing at you. That's going to be... That's 2 damage if you don't want to use a luck. And you're getting kind of hurt, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm down to 1.
Did you use a luck to avoid that, or you took the damage?
No, I take it.
Blood is spurting.
I take it, and I scream.
Behind you, I guess Diego and John, you're the closest to that door. Y'all are, John, I think's in. So Diego, I think you're kind of still in the doorway. As you look back, you see this thing, and I mean, it looks fucked up and nasty, and it's gnawing into the back of Void's neck. What are you doing?
All right. I think John...
I'm sorry, that was Diego.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. I am... Oh, boy. How many paces away am I from this?
You're
transaction?
probably, it's down the walkway, so it's no more than like 40 feet. So it's,
Okay.
close.
Close. I am going to. I'm gonna just I'm just gonna aim a gun and try to shoot. Try to shoot Frank.
Oh my.
I mean, I'm not. I have had no firearms safety training, and I'm not thinking about the fact that Void is very close to Frank.
All right. That's kick some ass. Let's
But
see.
I have one luck, so
yeah. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. I think the moment, that very split second before you squeeze the trigger, like Void locks eyes with you and is like, "Help me!"
And this is with is this kick some ass because he can't really hurt me back? Is it, or is it more like active pressure?
They don't. He won't be able to hurt you back, which is true. They do kick some ass for firearms. So let's go with act under pressure. I think you're right. I think that's probably going to give us a better feel.
Yeah, I think if he can't hurt me back, I think act under pressure is probably the right move. But in any case, I think it's the same result regardless. But it's 10, so
Excellent
numeric result.
You fire and you catch him on the side, Frank, on the side of the head, and it tears his cheek off, and you could see his brain exposed.
Yeah,
but it is.
I've already scalped his the top of his fucking head off, and it just blows the top of his skull off, and you see his brains
and blood. He pulls back from that bite, and blood gouts out onto Void's head, and it just covers down across Void as Frank falls back against the car, but then stands back up. And you could see, there's no way anyone, of course he had no skin before, but still no way that this person should still be up as because that was a 3 damage gun. John, I am going to come to you here now because you've heard this yell. The gun has gone off again.
Yeah, I think seeing this, I've got one last point from my Haven, so I'll go ahead and spend that from my magical laboratory, and I'll just say that when I was hitting the books, it had the true names of the nuns, and he will just call out the nuns, their true names, and just call out their names. Just says your prey is here.
Okay, I don't even think I'm going to have you roll because as you do this, over on the bookshelf on the other side of the room, you hear something click, click, click. And the girl there that's with you, Dallas, she looks over towards this bookshelf. No. No. And she looks up into your eyes, Dallas. He's my daddy. What do you say? What do you do?
Can I just shoot her in the head?
You absolutely can.
Do I need to roll? She's saying
you do not.
Yeah, no, I just end that.
Pow! She's out. And as that rabble on the bookshelf, the books fall, and you see that sphere. The top lifts, turns, sets back down. It sort of just rattles a moment. What do you do, Dallas, when you see that?
She's aiming her gun at it. I think she's kind of like, John?
John, you've seen that, and you know that it's the way to open the gate. That's what your book said.
So I guess is the way to. So is it now that being said, is it the way to open the gate, or is if we destroy it, will that close the gate behind him as well?
You're almost certain that you cannot destroy this, but opening it will, you were trying to call to them. It answered when you were calling to them. Opening the gate would bring them in.
Yeah, I yelled to Dallas. The orb. You need to use it to open the gate, and they will come and take him back.
I guess I use it and open it.
You rush over to grab it.
Yeah.
As you put it into your hand, I'm going to move out Void. Frank's there beside you. You're bloodied and battered. What you doing?
I turn around and I fucking face Frank. Like, and we're standing there like face to face. Like he, his brain sticking out, my fucking blood pissing down my face. And I just reach into my pocket and I pull out this crucifix. It's the crucifix that that Father Lafrane gave me when I was a kid. He gave this crucifix to me when my mother was murdered. And he was like, take this, pray to God every night, and he will set you on the right path. And I take that crucifix and I spit on it and I fucking jam it right into Frank's forehead. And I go, you're fucked, Frank. They're gonna find you now. And I wanna summon a monster. I wanna summon 3 monsters into this world. 3 demons.
All right, so it sounds like you're trying to do the summoning, this magic, and this is as you're slamming it into him. Let's roll weird and see what happens here.
8, 10.
As you slam this into his head, and there's the glock slop of it hitting in there, and the blood spurting.
Yeah. Can I rewind? Can it not go into his head? Can I jam it in his fucking eye?
Absolutely. As you slam it back into his eye, and he staggers back, and and as you watch, even though he's all messed up.
Your faith will find you in the end, sinner.
Boy, nothing can stop me. As the Lord said, suffer the little children to come unto me. And as he says that, he starts walking over towards you. And you feel like, you've given it your all as he's coming at you. Inside, Dallas.
Yeah, I drop to my knees in front of him.
This, as you pick it up, it begins to turn. Sides drop down, moves over, begins to spin slightly around before it centers back in. In the house, the curtains begin to blow. Light begins to pulsate red as you hear a voice. Girl, you call us. We have pleasures to give. Why do you call?
Found Frank.
Frank. As she says this, and it's the Mother Superior, kind of just stepping out of the shadow where the TV's all static. You see that stone-faced nun, just no motion to the face as she just appears. From down the hall, you see the one with the horns as she's running her blade down the wall. The wall bleeds behind where she scrapes through it. Frank. They begin moving towards the front. Diego, you see just in this like stately sort of march these three nuns, and Frank sees them too. And you can see he is terrified and turning and looks like he's going to try and fucking run. What do you do?
Oh, man. Okay. I am going to... I'm going to try to throw... can I oops and find something like... Oh, no, because it can't be about the immediate problem. Okay, never mind. I am going to just like... I'm going to grab the first thing I see that I can maybe throw at his feet to try to trip him.
Excellent. Let's... Once again, I think that's probably going to be an act under pressure.
Oh, boxcars.
Oh, as he starts to run, you reach down and you hurl without even looking. And as you picked up, it's one of those little ornamental stones. And it has a Bible verse written on it. That which we soweth, most surely shall we reapeth. And it slides, you chunk it over there as it hits Frank in the knee, and there's an audible crack as he stumbles. John, these things passing by, heading out, what do you do?
I step out of the way, just kind of completely like in awe and terror, and kind of just not involved, but just instinctually kind of almost kneels to them as they walk past, as these terrible and beautiful things, you know, cross my path.
They go across the porch, across the yard. The street lights begin sparking, just raining sparks down. The car and a couple of cars down the street, their alarms are going off, their lights are flashing. Frank is dragging himself across the ground as the Mother Superior. Frank, we've missed you. Time to come home. And she motions up as from the night sky, chains strike down, burying into his skin. As he screams, it begins dragging him back towards them. He's passing by you, Vince. Void. What do you do?
Fuck it. Yeah. I'm not Void anymore. You can call me Vince. That's fine. I'm on my knees. Like I was when I was a child, like in front of the altar. And in that 3 octaves too high, that voice, I start reciting the Lord's Prayer. Our Mother in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in hell. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our sins.
Screaming. He gets to where he's been drugged to the Mother Superior as the other two move down, each of them taking his arm. They pull him up, the chain still stuck in him, as Mother Superior leans in, and you see her whisper something to him. He screams, "It's so terrible, and feels so good." And as he says that, the chains rip him apart, and into gore and blood flies. These figures just sort of shrink down into the cloud of blood with this high-pitched screech. And in your hand, Dallas, the sphere, chink, 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 click, and they are gone. How about, we got a few minutes, how about an epilogue out of each person to wrap up our Monster of the Week? I think I'll leave the twins for last. So, Chris, can we get an epilogue out for John?
think the epilogue for John. He's sometime later cleaned up. He's in his office at the library, and he gets off, and you hear him talking on the phone, and kind of the camera's coming from behind, and he's saying it's like it's okay, it's okay, Diego. It's like, well, are we on for dinner tomorrow night? Great, I love you. He puts down the phone, and then the camera comes, and just sitting on his desk is the orb, and then he just puts his hand on it, and you just hear the we have such pleasures to show you.
Diego, what epilogue do we see from you?
Well, when I'm not hanging out with my problematic older boyfriend, who kept the evil object that caused all this shit, I think we see me. I think it's like I think it's that summer. I'm pissed because I was somehow accidentally short 3 credits and I couldn't graduate, and I'm having to take summer school, and there's just a certain number of classes you can take for summer school, and I'm running my finger down like of the options, and I get to religious studies, and I'm like, nope, and then I just like keep going. The end.
Excellent. Kate, epilogue for Dallas.
I think her final scene is her teaching knitting at a stupid like women's drop-in center. And there's like calmly teaching knitting, and then the moment where she's like, Jesus fucking Christ, like, and breaking the yarn. And oddly enough, the women find that helpful, less than like the calm zen that they would.
Awesome. Oh my God, so good. And Vincent, what is our epilogue for you?
I think we see Vincent, and he's wearing like a white shirt and kind of like casual kind of sports slacks. And he's sitting there at one of those long tables in St. Evelyn's Church, and he finishes like writing this birthday card, and it's got this really like lovely picture of like a cute kitten like kind of rolling around, and he finishes it, and it says, "Happy birthday, sis. Love, Vincent." And he puts it in an envelope, and then he gets the crucifix, like that's still kind of smeared with blood. And he kind of wraps it in this package and like posts it to his sister.
Oh, I love it. And that was All or Punished.
Yay.
That was stressful.
It's a little dark.
I didn't find it that bad. I just was like stressed.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. I had a good time.
Cool.
Yeah, that was great.
I don't want to do like a wishes or stars or any sort of thing like that particularly, but I will ask, is there any last little comment, anyone, or I'll go down, any last little thoughts you have on the game? I don't mind hearing, hey, that could have been different. I think that's cool. Or, this was really neat. You should work on,
I thought you did a good job. I thought you did a good job compressing the mystery. I edited this mystery, so I was already very familiar with it. I was trying my best to not, bring in out of character knowledge, but the mystery is actually like, it's a good, healthy 2-session mystery, right? Mm-hmm. And so I thought you did a really good job of giving us all the highlights in one session. So yeah,
cool. Thank you, Chris. Any thoughts?
It was great. I haven't, I hadn't read this one or anything, or I admit I've never actually seen Hellraiser. So yeah, that's. But it was great. Thumbs up.
Cool. Thank you, Kate. Any thoughts? Final thoughts on the game?
No, I enjoyed it. I honestly thought it could have been worse, like in terms of I don't know, gross things. Although way to go, Paul, you brought it. I liked it.
Gross.
Yeah,
it was good. Yeah.
Cool, thank you. And Paul, any thoughts to wrap us up?
Yeah, I love the kind of mundanity at the beginning, and then like ramping up into this like horrific thing. I was really hoping, one thing I was hoping was that you were actually going to drag us into hell. Like, if it had gone 2 sessions, I would have liked, like, yeah, we get dragged down that well and we go into like Frank's domain, and then the tables are turned. You know, that would have been I would probably would have run screaming out the room at that point.
The fun part about the 2-session, like the fuller 2-session version, is you get to have that whole, like, more of that story with Rana and the daughter, you know, and all of that. Like, it adds like a lot of texture to the Frank situation, which is really cool.
Yeah, I agree. I'm pleased with how this first time I've compressed it down to 1, and I was pleased pretty much with how it hit highlights. You guys were wonderful and fantastic. I do regret Rona not getting there, because I like that character. I do a real sad, pitiful end on her, and I think that's fun. But we found our way through in a nice way, and I liked all the characters. Paul, you were you were big. That was awesome and a lot.
Thank you.
I loved how Dallas. How practical, and you had great, you know, these lines like, "No, we're going now." These just sort of what the fuck, this is what we're going to do. It was a really well played. I want to say wasted, but that's not the right one. Wronged. And I love that playbook. I thought you were fantastic, Jason. Bringing in a mundane. I was kind of surprised you doing a mundane.
This is a super out of character for me, right? Yeah, like no.
But you were
the type
spot
I play. Yeah.
I love the mundane.
Yes, it actually is my favorite Monster of the Week playbook, or one of them. But yeah, I've never played Monster. This is the first time I've ever played Monster of the Week, so that was really fun. Yeah,
and the John was a really super cool character. You know, very practical. I liked the kind of the caring we saw there. I thought there were some really sweet moments between.
Yeah, I really like John and my relationship. Like, I thought that was really, like, it felt really genuine. Like this is, you know, this is where we're at, and this is kind of what, you know. And okay, now we're with these twins. We're hunting a serial killer who's been dead for 30 years. But all right,
fine.
Well, thank you all so much for playing. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of the con. I'm going to stop the broadcast here. Folks, if you happen to be watching, watch more. Thank you all.